All right, we are back with more Tyrion, Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. We're on case 3. We just finished case 2 last time. And, it's preposterous, apparently, says the unknown person. Completely and utterly preposterous. Let's see. Oh! I recognize that guy. Is something wrong, Von Sanctus? You filthy rat! You cheated, didn't you? That's it, isn't it? You're just a cheat! A cheat and a charlatan! Lloyd Von Sanctus, occupation Duke, age 45. The leader of House Von Sanctus, the weakest of the 4 pillar families. He stands at the head of the kingdom's commerce and international trade. I've met children who played chess better than him. Ouch! Oh, man, it hurts. Oh. Do you have any evidence to prove that claim? I mastered chess before you could crawl out of whatever rat hole you were born in. Do you honestly expect anyone to believe that you could defeat me? Honestly, I'm just as disappointed as you are. I expected more from a duke, but I guess all the gold in the world can't buy you a modicum of skill. You little upstart! Ow! Says nobleman with no eyes. That means he's not an important character. Von Sanctus's attendant silently tilted his head toward the spectators of the tournament. Oh no, we're in a chess tournament? The crowd had fallen silent, save for a few aristocrats who were muttering among themselves. Some were even chuckling at the spectacle. Absolutely preposterous. He repeated it like a prayer as he stomped away from the tournament grounds. So, that was something. Oh no. That happened! The scaled lord is standing right behind me, isn't he? Did you have to be such a sore winner? Come on, now that was hilarious. Embarrassing nobles like him is half of the fun of these tournaments. Where's this confidence when you're in the courtroom? Steelwind is far less of a pushover. I wonder if she plays chess. Now there was an interesting thought. I'm gonna challenge her next time we go out. You two have been really spending a lot of time together lately. What? Are you jealous? I just never expected you to get along so well with a noble. I mean, you've talked to her. She's not like most of those stuck-up heiresses. She really takes her job seriously. Maybe even more than you do. I'd just be careful around her. You've seen what the papers have been saying about her father. Hey, she's nothing like her father. Don't say things like that when she's around. Does he ever come up when you talk to each other? Nope, and you better not bring him up the next time we see her. She seemed oddly protective of the prosecutor. It was probably fine. Despite our differences, Steelwind was oddly fair when we were in the courtroom. Yeah, she's not like your standard ace attorney prosecutor who is just generally loathsome to the defense. I'd say she's a lot more like Clavier in Apollo Justice, who's just like, hey, I just want to have a good time in court, okay? There's nothing else going on here, forehead. Celeste spent most of her time protecting me, so I was glad she had someone she could spend her days off with. Anyways, we should celebrate. He was a pushover, but you just beat a duke! Do you want to head to that restaurant in Rathholm? What are you talking about? There are plenty of places here we haven't tried before. I only returned to Arno for the chance to finally defeat the head of a pillar family. I really wanted to leave, especially before anyone in town recognized me. Do you remember that cafe we passed on the way to the tournament grounds? We should grab some lunch there! I wanted to object, but she had this way of making it impossible to say no to her. Alright, I guess there's no harm in staying a little longer. We traced our steps back to the cafe. I looked at the sign hanging above it. Dark, with 2 Ks. Dark roasts and light magic. As we entered, we were struck by the powerful aroma of freshly baked pastries and coffee. The scent of bread and butter swirled around me, slowly washing away my reluctance to come here. What is this? So, you dare to enter the domain of the Alabaster Siren. Whether you were seeking glory or oblivion, it's found you all the same. What is this, Gundam Tanaka from Danganronpa 2? Oh, no. Mosorika Tutor? Okay. You stand before Mosorika Tutor, the Ashen Lord of Arena! Arcane art evocation isn't she's a merchant. He's a merchant? I can't tell. Oh, no, I think it's she. Never mind. My childhood friend appeared before us, her posture firm and over the top as always. What? We're getting some Tyrion lore here? Mosorika was much older than when I'd last seen her, but I could recognize that theatrical cadence anywhere. She clearly hadn't lost her flair for the dramatic. Her cloak somehow billowed with every exaggerated pose she snapped to. This is a female Gundam. This is a female Gundam Tanaka, isn't it? Oh, I love it. Mosorika Tutor, occupation merchant. Age 19, my dramatic childhood friend. She's a commoner who was born a mage. Through Draken's patronage, she was able to open up her own restaurant like she'd always dreamed about. I should have done more to keep in contact with her after I left. I'll have you know that my confections are not for the faint of... She froze up. She recognized me immediately. My bread is too powerful for you, traveler. Bread seller, I'm going into battle, and I need your tastiest bread. Tyrion? I winced as I rubbed the back of my neck. Hi, Rika. I knew it! It is you! Do you have any idea how worried we've all been? Do you two know each other? Right, sorry. Mosorika, this is my bodyguard, Celeste. Celeste, this is Mosorika. We kind of grew up together. She's actually a commoner mage, like you. You used to live here? But you were in such a rush to leave. You came here to eat, right? Let me bring you some of our best dishes. On the house. No, we couldn't possibly. Don't be like that. It's been years since I've seen you, and you know how good my cooking is. Okay, but only for a little bit. Also, a bit of a warning. Celeste is kind of a glutton. Her stomach is basically bottomless. She's that anime archetype. Hey! Oh, I'll accept that challenge. Rika set a table for 3 of us before calling over a waiter. Wait a minute. We're playing a visual novel with murders, and there's a character named Rika. Okay. I've read Higurashi. Don't even play. Don't even play. I ordered the eggs Benedict, and Rika ordered the French toast. Celeste ordered the omelet, ham skillet, shaved steak, breakfast wrap, a stack of pancakes, a stack of waffles, a chocolate crepe, and the avocado toast because she wanted something light. I am so sorry, Rika. I'll pay for her food. Ha! This is nothing! My cafe's dealt with far greater foes than this! Can I also get the eggs Benedict and the French toast? Their food smells great. I'll pay for her. Thank you. Wait a minute. Look at my attorney's runestone. A gem with strange carvings? Is it cursed? It's an attorney's runestone. It proves that I'm a certified attorney. It's fitted with artificery. I can use it to take pictures of evidence at crime scenes. I want one. You have to be an attorney to receive one. Tyrion, people use runestones for things other than practicing law? Alright, no, we have people, but no spells. Got it. Hey, Ruby's in here. Are you gonna show up in this case, too? Alright, Celeste. Your bodyguard really eats a lot! Celeste looked up from her plate, making eye contact with the 2 of us. She paused for a moment before going back to her meals. She's really good at her job. She must have been burning all those calories somehow. I heard you've been fighting the nobility. Is that why you need her? You know about that? The papers won't stop talking about you. I couldn't believe it when I saw your picture in the Orono Post after all these years. I'm sorry. I'm just glad you're safe, Tyrion. Look at you. I never expected the light-sworn monarch to start wearing a suit. What's this light-sworn monarch I keep hearing about? It's something I used to call myself when I was a kid. Wait, really? That's adorable. It pales in comparison to the Ashen Lord of Arno. But just as I'd expected from my apprentice, you're practically famous now. Not even the headmaster of the Imperial Academy could stand against you. I winced at being reminded about Redmond. I still didn't feel great about what had happened. What's wrong? Theodore Redmond wasn't a bad person. He just made a really terrible mistake. I'm not happy about indicting him. Oh. Rika's Cafe. Are you the owner of this cafe, Rika? You always dreamed of opening up one when we were kids. The source of my strength is the everlasting financial support of the Dracagon Trading Company. Its owner was rendered powerless when he tried confections. He had no choice but to fund my warpath. Dracagon Trading Company? I don't think I've heard of them. They're pretty small. They're only operating in Orono right now. But I hear that they're planning to expand their operations throughout Rivengard. I'm surprised the Duke of Commerce is letting that slide. Isn't he the guy you beat in the chess tournament this morning? Wait, that was you? House von Sanctus is one of the four-pillar families. They manage mercantile operations throughout Rivengard. So, House Steelwind controls the military, and House von Sanctus controls the businesses. House Freyga controls the banking houses and the exchange of currency. Okay. And House Sybil controls the judicial and legislative branches of our kingdom, which sounds like a horribly corrupt way to set things up. Whatever. Orono City. Is it just me, or does the city look a lot cleaner than before? Oh, right. You left before all those new merchants appeared. New merchants? Did they come from a merchants guild? Not exactly. The Dracagon Trading Company was one of the first merchants that came. They brought some of the Arcane manufactories a few years ago. They transformed it into the heart of artificery production within Orono. Other merchants felt the way of the wind and followed them here. Being based in a port city would definitely give them an edge. And Orono is one of the few trading hubs that sends and receives exports from the other kingdoms. I just looked at her, surprised. Hey, I'm a businesswoman. I know about economics. Their presence lit a flame in the city's economy. They aren't owned by the nobility, and they pay their employees a lot more than Von Sanctus does. It's really opened a lot more opportunities for the people here. I doubt the Duke appreciates the competition, though. They're even talking about forming employee-run unions. Oh, the Duke definitely won't appreciate that. Okay. The chess tournament. So, you still play chess? Yeah, I'm nationally ranked, too. I heard that some upstart commoner defeated Von Sanctus at a tournament this morning. I should have known it was the light-sworn monarch. Upstart commoner? Hey, do you still do that thing when you play? No. What thing? Nothing. She's not talking about anything. Wait, you're actually embarrassed about it? When we were kids, you did it even more than I did. What? What did he used to do? Why don't you show her, Tyrion? I refuse. Come on, show us, Tyrion. The thing. Do the thing. Say the line, Tyrion. I think I'm a little too old for this. I am insulted that you think age has anything to do with it. You need to feed it, Tyrion. Let your radiant light be smothered into a flickering ember. Do it, Tyrion. Yeah, do it, Tyrion. The two of them began chanting, drawing the attention of the other patrons in the cafe. I took in a deep breath. Those who stand in the shadows, those who fear the light of divinity, your imperials will fall, and your armies will perish. Kneel and cower before the divine gaze of the Eye of Horus. I am Tyrion Cuthbert, Emperor of Light, and the sworn enemy of darkness itself. They were trying really hard to contain their laughter. Well, that's why I don't do it anymore. No, that was great. It was really cool, Tyrion. Her poorly contained laughs puffed out between each word. And why are you laughing? You were just doing it a moment ago. Yeah, but she owns it. Ugh. You used to say something else. What was it? Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Man, king, or god. Yeah, that's it. He still says that sometimes. Well, it's been nice catching up with you, Rika. But I think it's time for us to get going. What? But we just got here. I'll let you go this time, light-sworn monarch. But by partaking of the food within my realm, you've fallen under its curse. Curse? You are now bound to my domain for eternity. I'm a benevolent lord. You only charge as my servant is the right to me at least once a fortnight. How long is a fortnight again? 2 weeks. Also, usually about 100 people fighting in an arena, and then one of them gets a battle royale, victory royale. I'll stay in touch, Rika. You'd better. Don't just disappear like last time. We left the cafe and made our way to the local merchants guild to rent a carriage. Who is that statue of over there with, like, the goggles? The city streets seemed a bit more crowded than before. There must have been some kind of event going on. Hey, Tyrion? Yeah? She fidgeted with her hands and seemed unable to make eye contact with me. She looked like she wanted to say something, but she couldn't find the right words. Never mind, it's nothing. Okay. We made our way to the Merchants Guild in silence. With each step, we found the streets becoming more and more crowded. I really hoped that this traffic wouldn't interfere with the ride home. Hi, could we rent a carriage for travel to Rathholm? Sorry, but travel outside of the city is temporarily closed. What? Why? Haven't you heard? Steel Wind soldiers have locked down the city. They set up a blockade and everything. A chill ran up my spine. It's Sid. It is Sid. So I don't know like the particulars, but I did see in this game's patch notes this case was actually significantly reworked, I guess. Like the whole mystery was changed. Because earlier this year, the game got a huge overhaul. That overhauled a lot of dialogue, a lot of mystery, a lot of clues, apparently. And this was like the most significantly reworked case from what I could see. So I'm curious what all changes. What are you talking about? Check the city gates if you don't believe me. We arrived at the city gates. Like the man had said, there was a division of knights blockading the exits to the city. There was an entire legion of them. Their flags bore the colors of the Kingsguard. What are they doing here? The Kingsguard was a military force that responded to matters of national importance. They worked directly under Grand General Steelwind. The townsfolk kept their distance, but several aristocrats were making their objections known. This is outrageous! How long do you plan on keeping us here? Before the past city was locked down because the traveling circus had just showed up. No! No! I refuse! Not again! Yeah, and there's one song that just plays constantly. And it'll haunt your dream. One thing that's great about the Phoenix Wright anime is one of the anime openings confirms that Phoenix has nightmares about the circus case. Though the anime actually does a pretty good job with it. They cut out the bizarre ages don't make any sense, and it's extremely creepy love triangle. Sorry, but we have our orders. We can't let anyone outside of the city until our investigation is complete. An investigation? We should keep our distance. I wouldn't want to... Oh, screw that! Before I knew what was going on, Celeste marched towards the night station there. Wait, Celeste! At least tell us what's going on. Why is the entire city being blockaded? Sorry, ma'am, we're not allowed to release that information. You'll just have to make other arrangements while we sort this out. Actually, I haven't seen you two around before. I'll need to take down your names and occupations for our records. What? Why? It's fine, Celeste. We're better off just cooperating with them. We needed to avoid any kind of conflict with them. I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm a defense attorney. Fine. I'm Celeste McCoy, bodyguard. Oh. He suddenly recognized us. Our reputation did more harm than good most of the time. I looked over to the other knights. They seem to be taking notes of the people here, too. They seem to be compiling a list of everyone inside the city. But for what? Kingsguard blockade. The Kingsguard have set up a blockade and prevented anyone from traveling in and out of Arno. They seem to be making note of everyone in the city. I have an important engagement tomorrow. What am I supposed to do now? This can't possibly be legal. The Minister of Justice will be hearing of this. The nobles continued shouting at the knights. It was clear they wouldn't be budging anytime soon. As soon as the knights were finished speaking to us, I quickly backed away. Celeste followed closely behind me. Tyrion, wait! She said that, but it took very little effort for her to keep pace with me. My breathing was getting faster, and my head was aching. My palms were sweaty. Scaled Lord. It's happening here. What? It's exactly like what's been happening in the countryside. Lucio Steelwind sent his men to keep the peace here. Oh, that's why you're so freaked out. How are you so calm right now? I'd probably win if they tried to attack us. Well, I'm not some super warrior who can fight a legion of knights by myself. Tyrion, relax. They just said they're investigating something. There are no riots going on here, and we're the heart of the Duke of Commerce's territory. Do you seriously think Von Sanctus would let another Pillar family march onto his land and kill his people? She had a point, but this uneasiness wasn't going away. It'll be fine. Let's just find a place to stay the night and wait for all of this to blow over. This will all blow over by the weekend. We walked to a nearby tavern and found it absolutely crowded with patrons. Wait, they're going to a pub and waiting for it all to blow over. Hey. Everyone else had the same idea. Hey, welcome to the Egwin Tavern. What can I do for you? Can we get 2 rooms for the night? Sorry, we're fully booked with the blockade and all. Wait, let me take care of this. Celeste took out a large pouch of gold and dropped it on the innkeeper's desk. Well, would you look at that? One of our rooms just opened up. Only one? The entire city's locked down. Even with this gratuity, that's the best I can do for you. What, embarrassed to share a room with me, Tyrion? No, I just... I briefly glanced at the innkeeper. He chuckled at my reaction. Fine, let's just go. We walked into the room they had prepared for us. This room looks very familiar. Hey, the power of asset reuse. You know, there is no shame in it. No shame at all. None. There was one bed. So how should we? Hey, listen. The man sleeps on the floor. The woman sleeps in the bed. That's how it goes. Okay. Oh, I was just kidding before. You can have the bed. I'll just sleep on the floor. Hey, what did I just say? What? I can't just let you... Is it going to be like Slayers? You know, when Lena and Gowry argue about who gets the bed and then they both end up sleeping on the floor because neither one wants to give the other one the bed? I bet we're going to have something similar to that. Please, we're both commoners, but you live a cushy life in the city. I'm a mercenary. I've lived on the road for years. I've slept like this plenty of times. I couldn't argue against that, but I still felt uneasy. All right. Just let me know if you change your mind. Boo! Boo! You fumble! You fumble! Yeah. I let myself fall onto the bed. Celeste started checking the room for anything suspicious. I tried to relax, but Lucio Steelwind was in my hometown. I just took deep breaths. Celeste was right. The Grand General wasn't insane enough to try anything in the heart of Lloyd von Sanctus's territory. I really hoped that was true. We had an arrangement. What are you doing? Says unknown person. I don't know. I guess I'm going back to do my actual job. You little rat. Do you think you can get away with crossing me? You've already come this far. You are far from blameless. Now get back in that office and activate the device. I thought you wanted me to rob the place. What's so special about this thing? And why the office? How about I activate it right now? Do not do that! I knew it. There's been something more to these jobs, ain't it? This ain't just robbery. You're using me for something else. As if you ever cared. I know about your debts. You need me. You know what? I'm done with this. I quit. What do you think this is? Bro, what? You got cotton in your ears or something? I said I quit. Consider this my resignation. Wait, stop! What? Out I'm gonna be. Damn it all. Violetta, get out of there now. Violetta, okay. As the night went on, I found myself falling into a terrible nightmare. How long had I been walking through this forest? It'd probably been days at this point. I was getting tired. But I had to get to Rathholm. I had to find Miss Timora again. I needed to find her. I needed her to teach me. I needed revenge. I really needed some food. I'd already gone through all of the dried fish that I'd packed for the journey. The compass told me that I was still heading west, but I didn't realize how long it would take to get to Rathholm on foot. I suddenly heard the sound of a distant carriage coming from behind me. It wasn't long before the cart passed by me. The carriage driver glanced at me before doing a double take and yanking at the reins. Hey, what are you doing all the way out here? I said nothing. I just stared blankly at him. Are you okay? Where are your parents? They're gone. The man scratched his head and scanned the surrounding forest. I need to go to Rathholm. I need to find Ruby Timora. Wait, that criminal lawyer? She's my family's lawyer. Oh, I'm gonna be passing by Rathholm. You should probably come with me. We can get you to the City Watch. They probably know how to help a kid like you. I wasn't interested in meeting more knights, but at this rate, I was gonna starve. Without a word, I climbed into the back of his carriage. The kid looks like he's half dead. I was startled awake. My face was covered in sweat. It took me a while before I realized that it had just been a nightmare. I rubbed my eyes. There were dried tears crusted into them. Damn it all. It had been a long time since I'd stopped having those nightmares. Being in this city was digging up memories that I'd moved on from. All the more reason to leave as soon as possible. Celeste, are you up? Huh? She'd been wistfully staring outside the tavern window, but her body twitched the moment I called out to her. That's a new, new pose. Are you okay? Yeah. You just startled me. He wasn't awake, was he? What were you doing? What were you doing? There was clearly something else, but she didn't seem keen on sharing. Do you know if the city is still on lockdown? I haven't checked yet. I was waiting for you. Is it... Oh, it's night. We arrived at the city gates. It was still blocked by the Kingsguard. If anything, it looked like they doubled the number of knights there. I really didn't like where this was going. I don't like where this is going. Every time they do that, I gotta do the Jontron. Stop! Stop! Do you want to head to the cafe again? Yeah. We'll just have to wait this out. And just as we turned around, we saw Rika running towards us from a block away. Tyrion! She broke out into a sprint, nearly tripping over as she slipped on the wet city streets. She looked exhausted, and her clothes were drenched. She'd been out in the rain for a while. Tyrion, it's terrible! There was an accident at the Arcane refinery last night. One of my friends who worked there. He fell into a vat of chemicals. He's dead. Oh, Rika, I'm so sorry. If there's anything I can do... The Duke is blaming the Dracagon Trading Company. He's trying to charge the owner with criminal negligence. As the lord of this region, it was House Von Sanctus's responsibility to carry out the law. But the Duke was obviously just taking this opportunity to attack one of his rivals. Tyrion, you're a famous lawyer, right? Can you help them? I don't think I can. What? But... Rika, I specialize in homicides, and most of my clients are mages who've been charged with murder. There isn't any magic involved in what happened. There isn't even a killer. That's not true. I saw it happen. I didn't see who did it, but I saw someone cast a spell at him. It pushed him into the vat. What? How sure are you of this? I don't know. It all happened really fast. I took a deep breath. Even she didn't seem that sure of what she saw. Do you know what kind of spell it was? I don't know, but it was powerful enough to break everything around it. That definitely sounded too distinct. She must have seen something. Okay. I'll head to the refinery and see what I can do. Really? But don't get your hopes up. I don't have a lot of information to work with. That's fine. I'll let Dracagon know that you're on our way. This week was just getting worse by the minute. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna sing. Oh my. We made our way to Orono's Arcane refinery. I'd always avoided the industrial district when I was a child. The Eye of Horus always showed me a miasma of exhaustion and hopelessness draping over this part of town. I definitely felt less of that this time around. I'd gotten more used to dealing with my powers. Either that or Orono's working conditions really had taken a turn for the better. Wow, so this is an Arcane refinery. I never really understood what they do here. Those machines refine the arcane crystals that they use in artificery devices. Crystals like that can power everything from simple lights to advanced stuff like your runestone. How do you know this? I basically had to with all the extra reading I've been doing to learn how to fix your runestone. Sorry, I can't sense magic like you can. Mr. Cuthbert. As we arrived, we spotted Steelwind directing the knights as they investigated the crime scene. Hey, you're here, so this must be magical. I'm surprised to see you all here. I thought what happened this morning was being considered an accident. I should say the same to you. Was Rika right? Did a mage really murder her friend? My friend is an associate of the Dracagon Trading Company. She asked me to take a look at what happened. Right, I'd forgotten that Lloyd was charging Dracagon with criminal negligence. Isn't that why you're all here? We're here because of another matter. Honestly, the death of Justin Way seems fairly straightforward. No. Justin Way? He's in the way? He's just in the way? No! Oh, it's great. It's great. I'll be prosecuting the case, of course, but I doubt there's anything to dispute there. Well, if you're so confident, I guess you wouldn't mind answering my questions. Why do I feel like you're about to make my job much more difficult? Weren't you the one who said that the courts operate by having two balanced powers of opposition? So you are going to defend him? I wanted to say that I wasn't sure yet, but that would probably be a lie. Very well. If there's something here I'm not seeing, I'd appreciate your perspective. I'll tell you what I know. What about my runestone? I am well aware that you're an attorney, Mr. Cuthbert. Sorry, I don't know why I always show this thing to people. It is very useful. The artificery embedded into it is actually quite fascinating. I wouldn't fault you for being excited about it. You could fault him a little. The Kingsguard. Do you know why the Kingsguard are blockading the city? Something dangerous was stolen from an Imperial ship this morning. We need to make sure that it doesn't leave the city. That's all I can tell you, for now. What happened? Can you tell me more about what happened? This morning, a factory worker named Justin Way... Still love that name. was walking on the catwalk above us. When he put his weight on the guardrail, it broke apart. He unfortunately fell straight into a vat of corrosive chemicals.
Wasn't exactly a peaceful way to go out.
One witness, Masorika Tudor, saw this happen and reported what she saw immediately. The workers quickly followed safety protocols and poured a concoction into the vat to neutralize its corrosive properties. But it was far too late. By the time they pulled him out, the only thing left of Justin's body was his bones and one of his personal effects. I have the autopsy report if you'd like to take a closer look. Autopsy report. Died of dissolution. Ooh. At 10:02 a.m. after falling into a vat of molten aetherite. Only his bones and some personal effects could be recovered. Scaled Lord. If the chemicals were strong enough to dissolve his body, how did this personal effect survive? We're not sure. The item was a well-crafted ring, so it's possible it was made out of a material resistant to dissolution. Justin's ring. Justin was wearing this ring at the time of death. It somehow wasn't dissolved by the molten aetherite in the vat. The workers' union had previously reported the damaged guardrail to the refinery owner. We're charging Stefanik Drakogan with criminal negligence for failing to repair it in a timely manner. But Masorika said that she saw a spell push Justin into the vat. That's what she told law enforcement, too. But the evidence doesn't support that. There were no traces of magic anywhere near the guardrail, save for the magical chemicals in the vat. We didn't find any traces of evocation magic to suggest an explosive spell pushed him. And there weren't any traces of transmutation magic to suggest that anyone weakened the guardrail. It was possible Rika was in too much shock to remember what happened accurately, but it was still strange. I would need to talk to her again and get a more detailed description of what she saw this morning. The Drakogan Trading Company. What do you know about the Drakogan Trading Company? I know that I've had to listen to the Duke of Commerce incessantly complain about them. I am guessing he doesn't get along with them. Stefanik Drakogan's trading company is supposedly posing a threat to his holdings. Lloyd also doesn't seem to approve of how he's been handling the workers' unions. I'm sure he'd take issue with the simple fact that he allows them to exist. It appears so. We've also received a lot of reports of rising tensions between Mr. Drakogan and the unions. Apparently, many known dissidents have joined them as a way to indirectly fight back against the aristocracy. This refinery's union head, Noah Morrison, has denied this, but the reports tell a more honest story. Wait, Mr. Morrison is the leader of the workers' unions? Union tensions. There have been supposed tensions between the workers' unions and Arno and Stefanik Drakogan. The union head of the refinery is Noah Morrison, the harbor master of Arno Harbor and a close family friend. Do you two know each other? Something like that. Mr. Morrison was the harbor master of the Arno Harbor when I used to live here. He was a kind and generous man. He used to watch me while my mother was working. I felt uneasy about talking to him after all these years, but I needed to warn him if he was getting himself involved with dissidents. Although it had been more than 10 years since I'd last seen him, he could very well be one of them. Do you know where Drakogan is? I'd like to talk to him about this directly.
The old-timer's being questioned by the King's Guard. They're asking him about the robbery that occurred before the accident.
I'm sure he'll be back later today. Wait, the refinery was also robbed this morning? Yeah, the other matter. You mentioned you were here investigating another matter? Did something else happen here this morning? Over the last few months, there's been a string of suspicious robberies within Orna. Their criminal calls themselves the Mist-Weaving Phantom. Oh no, it's Phantom Thief B! He leaves stupid poems everywhere. In every chapter, we have to go on a really dumb side quest to try to intuit where he hid things. That style of naming sounded oddly familiar. This city is a hub of global trade, and several ships belonging to the trading companies have been robbed. These thefts were expertly executed. No one witnessed them, and they left no evidence behind. The few times when the Phantom did trigger an alarm, it was as if they disappeared into thin air. I guess this Phantom lives up to their name. What's most alarming is that an extremely dangerous shipment was stolen from an Imperial ship this morning. What did they steal? I'm sorry, but that is a matter of national security. I've already told you more than I should. It's not relevant to this case. So, just leave that matter to my father and me. Oh no, the other Phantom, yeah! No, it's... We gotta arrest Orem. It's him, he's the Phantom. Oh no, he has the power to make the end case of a Phoenix Wright game extremely underwhelming. The King's Guard have completely blocked the city to keep anyone from getting away. So that's why they were blockading the city? The Mistweaving Phantom. There was a thief who calls themselves the Mistweaving Phantom. They've been expertly robbing several merchant ships that were resting at Arno Harbor. No one ever spots them, and they never leave any evidence behind, hence the name. Stolen shipment. A thief known as the Mistweaving Phantom stole a dangerous shipment from an Imperial ship the morning of Justin's death. The King's Guards have set up a blockade and prevented anyone from traveling in and out of Arno. They seem to be making note of everyone in the city. Wait, did you just say that your father is here? Yeah, what? Grand General Steelwind? Why is Lucio Steelwind here? What is he planning? Tyrion. You have every right to be concerned, but it's out of our hands. As I told you, the stolen shipment is a threat to national security. My father has taken it upon himself to search for it personally. No. I need to calm down. Lucio Stalewind may be a bloodthirsty monster in the countryside, but Arno was a central trading hub in Weirengard. If he started a bloodbath here, it could very well cause the kingdom's economy to grind to a halt. Even he wasn't insane enough to do something like that. I'm still predicting Lucio Steelwind is actually doing like some sort of like greater good thing that, you know, when a guy has to do something really hard that doesn't look like he's doing the right thing, but it is the right thing and he can't tell anybody it's the right thing, you know? He would... Yeah, excuse me. There's a problem here. Line not go up. Line must go up. Doesn't matter what else happens. Line go up. That is the ultimate goal here. My father has the best mages in the kingdom searching for it. It's clear, however, that someone is using powerful abjuration magic to mask its location. We'll just need to wait for this phantom to be apprehended. Either way, it seems like I'd learned everything I could for now. It was time to move somewhere else. Move! Lawyer, get out the way! Get out the way! Let's go to the harbor, I guess. The town square is like our hub, I'm guessing. What about dark roasts and light magic? Can we go there? Ah, Lord of Radiant Flame, you returned! Did you get a chance to talk to Mr. Drac again? I just missed him, apparently. I did talk to the prosecutor, though. You mean Lady Steelwind? She's not that bad once you get to know her. Anyways, I learned a bit more about what happened, but I think your testimony doesn't really fit in with the reports. Can you tell me more about what you saw? Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help. The case. I'm sorry I had to drag you into this. I didn't know who else to turn to. Don't worry about it. You've saved me more times than I can count. Wait, when did I save you? Did you forget? That's how we met. What happened? I was always getting harassed by some of the older kids at the harbor. One day they tried to steal the allowance my mother gave me. You stepped in and stopped them. Ah, I remember those cretins now. They had no choice but to flee from the weight of my majesty. She basically knew how to scream in the most alarming way. It sounded like something between a rabid fox and a screeching baby. Yes, my battle cry alone was enough to end battles before they started. Battle cry, it's a battle cry. It's a Samurai Champloo, anybody? Yeah. It drew the attention of law enforcement. They thought a monster had broken into the city. I think that's when I became your apprentice. We'd always go on adventures together through the city. Yes, and look how much you've grown. I'm glad I put you on the path to greatness. I really miss those days. Me too. After all this is over, let's go on another adventure. You should come with us, Celeste. Yeah, I'm always up for an adventure. What did you see? All right, let's get to work. You said that you saw someone cast a spell that pushed Justin into the vats. Can you tell me exactly what you saw? I need every detail that you can remember. It was kind of hard to see. I was on the ground level, and he was up on the catwalk. I think I saw him yelling at someone from up there. That's when I saw a flash of light. It was a short burst of magical energy that ripped the guardrail apart. Justin happened to be standing right next to the top of a nearby vat. He fell right into it. I told one of the workers what I saw, and they went to try to pull him out, but I guess it was too late. The chemicals must have been really toxic. They weren't just toxic, they were strong enough to completely melt down his body. There's actually something else. I saw Justin drop something from his hands before he fell into that vat. After they pulled him out, I tried looking for it and cast Detect Magic. That's when I found this on the ground below the walkway. A leather strap? I looked at the strap more closely. It had a buckle on it, but nothing to connect it with. The numeral 6 were engraved on it. I was really confused as to what the purpose of this was. I saw a blue glow when I looked at it. It was cyan? That's the color of conjuration traces. Leather strap. Justin was holding this leather strap before he fell into the vat of magical chemicals. It has 6 engraved at the end of it. It's covered in traces of conjuration magic. I tried to give it to the investigators, but they didn't think it was important. I guess that made sense. They were considering this was an accident, not a murder. Why were you there? Why were you at the refinery anyway? You don't work there, do you? I was delivering Justin's breakfast. He always skips it. Really annoys me. So I started bringing some of my pastries over every morning. What? Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So important that you ate it multiple times yesterday. I have a high metabolism, okay? Anyways, isn't it kind of dangerous to let a civilian walk around a factory like that? Ha! I am no ordinary civilian. No one there would dare to bar my visit to the refinery. Which means that you don't usually visit the refinery. Yeah, I usually just meet Justin in the freight area. But he didn't show up that day, so I got worried and went looking around. The people who work there recognized me and let me in. That's when I saw him fall into the vat. The spell. Did you recognize the spell Justin was hit with? I am a mage, but I've never seen a spell like that before. It happened instantly, and it didn't look like an explosion or anything. It kind of looked more like an expanding prism. A prism? Does that match with any spells that you're familiar with? I specialize in transmutation spells, but any of the spells I know that could create a cube wouldn't expand instantly like that. The problem is that the Inquisition didn't find any traces of magic on the walkway. They couldn't have been an evocation spell or a transmutation spell. Alright, Masorka's testimony. So Masorka Tudor was delivering Justin's breakfast to him, but she couldn't find him in the freight area. She went looking for him and spotted him on the catwalk within the refinery. She saw Justin get blasted with some sort of spell that took the shape of an expanding prism. This spell destroyed the guardrail of the catwalk and pushed Justin into the vat. I actually wanted to ask you about that. Why would an explosive evocation spell leave traces of magic? Magical traces are only left on the objects they're targeting. Something like a fireball spell isn't technically targeting anything. That's correct, but every evocation spell produces some kind of residue. In the case of fireball, its magical traces would be left on whatever it had burned or melted. If someone used an evocation spell powerful enough to rip the guardrail apart, they would have found traces of evocation there. Wow, I never knew how technical these things were. We're lucky they are. Otherwise, I'd have a lot less evidence to work with. If what you're saying is true, was I wrong about what I saw? I wouldn't say that. I've been doing this long enough to know that there's always an explanation for oddities like this. If what Rika saw was accurate, what kind of spell was Justin hit with? It was strong enough to rip the guardrails apart, but it didn't leave any traces. Either way, I learned everything I could from her. It was time to move somewhere else. Move! We're doing it! Let's go to the harbor. It had been a long time since I'd been to the Orono harbor, but the ocean breeze and the smell of seawater were unmistakable. The city had clearly changed a lot over the years, but at least one thing had stayed the same. I remember when I'd sit by the docks, bored out of my mind, while my mother read people's fortunes on the boardwalk. I hated it. I never had anything to do or anyone to play with. And I would give anything to get those days back. Are you okay? Yeah, we should get going. Are you sure? We can stay here a bit longer if you want. It sounded tempting, but I knew it wouldn't be long before I started remembering everything else that had happened. Sometimes it's good to take a rest, and Celeste, I'm fine. The tone of my voice turned a lot sharper than it admitted to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'd heard from Rika, but I still can't believe it. It really is you, isn't it? Mr. Morrison? Noah Morrison, occupation harbor master, age 64. The harbor master of Orono. He was friends with my mother before she was killed. He would always watch over me whenever my mother was busy with her job as a merchant. He taught me how to fish. It's good to see you, boy. Look how much you've grown. Hi. I drew in a sharp breath. The guilt over how I'd left the city was clawing at me. I'm sorry I never kept in touch. I'm just glad that you're safe. Some of the lads were sure you died in the woods. Color us surprised when we saw you in the newspaper taking on some noble in the countryside. Actually, since I have you here, I'm investigating the death of Justin Way. Oh, you heard about that? It's a terrible thing that happened to him. Can I ask you some questions about the Dracagan Trading Company? Of course! But first, look at my runestone. What's this? Some kind of amulet? It's an attorney's runestone. It proves that I'm a certified attorney. I really can't believe you're some big shot attorney now. I mean, look at you. I never imagined I'd ever see you wearing a suit. Frey would be very proud of you, my boy. Hope so. Noah Morrison. Glad to see you're doing okay, Mr. Morrison. Things have really turned around since you were last here. It's a little difficult to take in sometimes. So much has changed. I know it's a little tough to trust sometimes, but change can be good. It's all really new, but I feel like the city's in good hands. That's good to hear. You're okay, aren't you? Things weren't exactly, He was really trying to choose his next words carefully. I'm okay. Apparently everyone's seen as much in the papers lately. Right. I guess you're a defense attorney who saves mages. Is he doing this because of what happened to his mom? Ah. What? I know all that happened a long time ago, but it's okay if you're still not okay. Okay? It sounded like he was clumsily stumbling around his words. You're probably all settled down in the capital, but I hear there are some support groups that... I'm okay. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Right, of course. The workers' unions. I heard that you're leading one of the workers' unions in Orono. So you heard about that. I didn't trust it at first, but Dracagan's idea really took off. Finally having a say in things has been great for the workers in the city. Wait, the workers' unions were Stefanik Dracagan's idea? Yeah, I was just as confused as you are. I had no idea what he was trying to do, but I wasn't going to look at that gift horse in the mouth. That must be bittersweet considering how hostile things have gotten between you two. What? I heard about it from the prosecutor. I know about the tensions between the unions and Dracagan. This again? That knight said something like that too. But things have never been better between Stefanik and us. The prosecutor said they received several reports of hostility between you two. Well, this is the first I'm hearing of this. He seemed sincerely confused. What was going on? Who sent those reports anyway? Surely not any of the union members. I'm not sure, but from what she said, those reports came from numerous sources. The prosecutor's a steel wind, ain't she? Are you sure you can really trust what she says? She's not the type of person who'd lie about something like this. If you say so. Were all those reports wrong, or was Mr. Morrison lying? Union tensions. There have been supposed tensions between the workers' unions in Orono and Stefanik Drakigan. However, this has been denied by the union head of the refinery workforce, Noah Morrison. Noah Morrison is the harbor master of Orono Harbor and a close family friend. And he was a good friend. The more I hear about that story, the less it makes sense. I talked to the man who inspected the guardrail. He said that it was only dented. It should never have broken like they were saying. So was Rika right then? Did someone break that guardrail apart using magic? But if that were true, why weren't there any magical traces there? Yeah, the robberies. I heard there's been a string of robberies happening throughout town, and they said that Drakigan's office was hit before the accident at the refinery. Ah, the Phantom even hit the refinery. It's been a real headache, that one. The Inquisition seems to suspect that one of the members of the Union is this mist-weaving Phantom. What? That's a load of bollocks! It made sense when I'd heard about the tensions between Drakigan and the Unions, but if that's not true, it can't have been someone from the Unions. Our offices have been hit the most! Wait, could a thief? What could a thief possibly steal from a Union office? That's the strangest thing. The Phantom broke in, but all they took were some documents. We were wary of the Duke and the other nobles, so we had some advanced security systems installed at each of our offices. But it didn't matter. The thief just slipped right past them. What kind of documents did they take? Things with lists of our members, our budget, and minutes of our meetings with employers in the city. Well, that definitely can't be anything good. But that implies that the Phantom is stealing more than just valuables. What were they trying to accomplish? The Mist-Weaving Phantom. Alright, there is a thief who calls themselves the Mist-Weaving Phantom. They've been expertly robbing several merchant ships that were resting at Orono Harbor. They've also been breaking into the magically secured offices of the workers' unions and stealing administrative documents. No one ever spots them, and they never leave any evidence behind, hence the name. Interesting. The robber's profile. What was going on? The more I learned about the Mist-Weaving Phantom, the more their motives became unclear. Mr. Morrison, Steelwind told us that several ships were robbed in port. Do you know which ones? Give me a second. I've been making some notes of the shipping reports right here. The shipping reports. Items that were robbed are marked in red. Okay? New Astralis to Remus Virgili. 100 kilograms of foreign books. From Aethergard to Von Sanctus Industries. Item unknown. Stolen. From Rosacaster to Von Sanctus Industries, 300 tons of arcane constructs, 30 tons of bronze was stolen. Ixia to Prim Textiles, 5 tons of fine linens and silk, and then Ixia to Von Sanctus Industries, 50 kilograms of exotic jewels, and 10 tons of barreled wine. So someone has stolen unknown, bronze, and jewels. Wow, they even hit Von Sanctus? It's not on the report, but they even hit my house. Who is this guy? It's difficult to see what the stolen items have in common. Do you think they chose targets to intentionally mislead everyone, trying to figure that out? Honestly, that's very likely. Whoever they are, they might be after more than just gold. It's Alphard. Oh yeah, can we look at the ships and stuff? Let's see. Detect magic.
Preparing Arcanum.
Nothing, okay. A row of houses line the edge of the harbor. When I was a kid, I always dreamed of saving up enough to buy my own house on the harbor front. Well, you have a job as an attorney now. You can always move back here. No, if possible, I never want to return to the city again. Okay. The ships. It's a modest ship. It's probably used by local businesses to transport goods by sea. I can't help but feel nostalgic seeing these ships. I used to travel by sea all the time when I was traveling the world. It was probably my favorite part. That does sound pretty nice. I'd like to try riding one day. Are you sure? You get motion sick really easily. Sailing on a ship might kill you. She had a point there. Alright, I think that's all we can look at, yes. Oh wait, no, this. There are several crates containing all kinds of goods. They must be the merchandise of the local businesses. Alright, and that's it. Yep. The mystery ship. Why are the items from the Aethergard shipment marked as unknown? Oh, that.
I think the ship was owned by a pretty high-profile noble. He said his name was Astor.
You met him?
Yeah, pretty nice bloke, that one. Nothing like old Lloyd. A lot of his retainers were causing a fuss when they realized that their ship had been robbed. It sounded like something really valuable was stolen from it.
Do you think that's the Imperial ship that Arya mentioned? Maybe. They seemed to be really secretive about what was stolen. It also looks like the Duke was supposed to receive whatever was on that ship. He might be able to tell us more about what was stolen. Do you seriously think he'll talk to us? You kind of intentionally set him off the last time you saw him. You're right. We might have more luck trying to find this Astor.
He didn't seem to pay any mind to what happened. He even paid me to show him around town. We were actually at the refinery when the accident happened.
What? Why didn't you start with that, Mr. Morrison?
Oh, you never asked.
Well, did you see the accident?
No, my knee was acting up, so I was taking a sit down in the yard outside. But I think he saw something. He gave his statements to those knights when they showed up.
Steelwind never mentioned that. Is she hiding another witness from us?
That girl seemed really jumpy around him, too. She could barely hold a conversation with him.
Oh, wow. I've never seen her like that before. Whoever this Astor was, it sounded like I need to have a talk with him. I think I actually learned a lot more than I thought I would. It was time to move somewhere else. The refinery again? Or the town square? We'll go to the town square. The investigation. Mr. Morrison didn't seem to know about those reports of tensions between him and Drakigan. But Arya said that those reports came from multiple sources. It's hard to know who to trust, but I don't think Mr. Morrison is lying. Does that mean those reports were all wrong? Maybe they're just the products of some people being spooked by baseless rumors. Next lead. Where should we go next? We've learned a lot, but it's difficult to make sense of what's going on. It's time we finally talk to Stefanik Drakigan. It's been some time. Maybe he's finally back at the refinery. Let's move! And go to the refinery. We arrived back at the refinery. The Inquisition was still sweeping factory ground, but Steelwind seemed to have left. Sweep it up, Janny! As we entered the factory, I spotted a large, unfamiliar figure. He was old in his years, but his build carried the strength of someone who hadn't spent his life sitting idly. I could see a powerful yet steady temperament in his eyes. His posture carried the shrewdness of a clever businessman. The refinery employees who were still present were deferring to him. He must have been the owner of the Drakigan Trading Company. Stefanik Drakigan, occupation guildmaster, age 70, the merchant owner of the Drakigan Trading Company. He's an investor who has helped many commoners start their businesses in Orono. He seems to care deeply about workers' rights and enforces that ideology in his business. As we approached, he quickly noticed us and began waving us over.
Hello there. You must be the famous attorney that Miss Tudor spoke about.
I am. I take it that you're the guild master of the Drakigan Trading Company?
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I really appreciate you lending your aid in this matter.
I already told Rika this, but I've never tried a case like this before. I honestly don't know how much help I'll be.
Well, there isn't a single attorney in Arno that will represent me. So I'd appreciate having you as my attorney, especially with the trial in only a few hours.
What?
I thought it was strange, too. The Duke must be pulling some strings.
The courts usually only rushed cases to trial when they involved magic, but there was supposedly no magic involved in what had happened. Did the prosecution know something that I didn't? I guess it didn't matter, and we just have to do what I could. Okay, if your trial is coming up, we'll need to move quickly. Can I ask you some questions about what happened, Drakigan? There's clearly something more going on with this case.
Of course.
But first, look at my runestone.
Oh, is that a runestone?
It's an attorney's runestone. It proves that I'm a certified attorney.
I'm familiar with the concept. I know that law enforcement and certain members of the nobility have those. Honestly, I've always wondered how convenient my life would be if I had one of those.
Why would you need to take notes and pictures of crime scenes? The victim. Rika mentioned that Justin was an employee of yours. Could you tell us more about him? What was he like when he was working here?
Yes, I hired him just a few months ago. It's a shame what happened to him. And at such a young age, too.
Was he a good employee?
He was a hard worker, but he was a bit rough around the edges when he first started. He wasn't great at following the rules at first, but he was good with his hands. I wasn't sure what to make of him at first, but Miss Tudor practically begged me to hire him.
That did sound like her. She always had a habit of getting in her friend's business. What could people possibly want to photograph other than crime scenes? I know, right? Jeez, imagine, literally imagine, not taking a picture of a crime scene. What?
He was a good man. All he needed was some structure and direction in his life. Oh, after only a few weeks of working for me, he was following the rules more than anyone else here. It only makes me more confused as to why he was up there.
Yeah. The walkway. Earlier, you mentioned that Justin wasn't supposed to be on the walkway. What did you mean by that?
Well, Justin worked in an entirely different department. He was part of a team that managed packaging and freight. He had no business being inside the refinery building, much less up on the catwalk.
Was he the type of person to wander around places that he wasn't supposed to?
We had a few issues like that when he started a few months ago. But like I said, he always followed my rules when he was working today. It all just makes the situation that much more confusing. My contractors assure me that the damage to the guardrail was nothing to worry about.
From what Rika said, someone used a spell to break the guardrail apart. If that's true, I doubt Justin's death was your fault. The robbery. I heard that the mist-weaving phantom hit the refinery this morning. Which part of the refinery did they break into, and what did they steal?
That's the strangest thing. The thief broke into my office and cracked my magically locked safe. That safe contained my business records and several gold coins I keep on hand. They stole the records but left the gold.
Why would they leave it after going to so much trouble to break in? What is the phantom actually after?
Your answer is as good as mine.
Was the location that Justin fell from close to your office?
Yes, my office is positioned there to overlook the refinery.
Ah. They broke into Stefanik Dragogan's office near the catwalk where Justin Way fell from. They didn't steal the gold inside the safe, but they took the business documents inside. No one ever spots them, and they never leave any evidence behind, hence the name. Okay. If the robbery occurred close to the time of Justin's death, did you spot the phantom while he was up there? Yeah, the workers' unions. How is your relationship with the local workers' unions?
I'd certainly hope they're good. We had our disagreements, of course, but nothing we couldn't work out through discussion. Working at a refinery isn't without its risks, and people want to be properly compensated for that. I just hope we can put this accident behind us and take more precautions in the future.
He seemed to genuinely care, but it honestly sounded too good to be true. Merchants tended to be emotionally guarded. It naturally came with the occupation. I didn't see any thought to the Eye of Horus. What was he really thinking? I have to ask, why would you propose the formation of the workers' unions in the first place? With all due respect, I think someone in your position would have every reason to stop that from happening.
I don't blame you for thinking that, and I'm sure many other merchants in this kingdom would agree with you. But that's exactly why I proposed it to Noah. I've seen how this kingdom treats those at the bottom of society. Those, well, are treated like tools, worked by their employers until they break and need to be replaced. But tell me, Mr. Cuthbert, do you own any appliances made by Von Sanctus Industries?
I have a Von Sanctus brand oven. You mean the one that keeps breaking down?
That's exactly the problem. The Duke's employees are so overworked that they naturally can't do their jobs properly. Quality control is non-existent. But it's all about doing the bare minimum required to turn a profit with him. I'm not one to brag. My products have been touted to be far more reliable than Von Sanctus's. It's a simple thing, really. When you keep your employees happy, they perform better, and that it pays itself forward. I created the first workers' union with Noah to allow workers to better advocate for themselves.
Haha, wow. Ah, what a story, Mark. What a crazy fantasy world this is.
This is nuts. I'm glad to see it sets a precedent for the employees of other companies to do the same.
I guess I could see his logic there, and Von Sanctus's products were pretty poorly made, which only made those reports of tensions between them all the more strange. There's something strange going on with this case. Yeah, especially with this mist-weaving phantom. There's that, but there's something else that stood out to me.
What's the truth behind the tension between Draken and the unions?
After personally talking to Mr. Morrison and Stefanik Drakigan, one thing is clear. There are no tensions between Stefanik Drakigan and the unions. There are no tensions between Drakigan and the unions. They had very little reason to lie to me, and even if they had, their statements wouldn't match so closely. But what about those reports Steelwind talked about? They didn't just say things that were bad between them, they said they were hostile to each other. I think those reports might actually be related to the Phantom. What? How? What is strange about the Phantom's actions? I don't know for what reason, but the Phantom isn't just looking to steal items of monetary value. The Mist-Weaving Phantom steals from values documents,
What if?
as much as valuables? The serial robber seems to value records and documents, specifically those relating to the workers' unions and the Drakian Trading Company. How is the Mist-Weaving Phantom related to Steelwind's reports? It's not concrete, but if we connect their actions to Steelwind's reports, something becomes suspect.
Maybe.
How is that related to Steelwind's reports? The documents stolen by the robber are being used to frame Drakigan? No, the robber was clearly doing more than just stealing valuables. They had another goal in mind. And it's related to those false reports. Oh. To file false reports? Yes, okay. Whoever the Mist-Weaving Phantom is, the documents they stole are being used to file those false reports. Why would they do that, though? It can't be for anything good. They're not just a common thug looking to make some easy money. They're working towards something. Something that's already affecting the political climate of Orono. I could feel my hand clenching into a fist. Whoever was filing those false reports was putting everyone in the city in danger. Why has everything changed? If this continued, Lucio Steelwind might not leave when they find the shipment. He continued his bloodthirsty crusade here. I'm going to find them, and when I do, I'm going to wring the truth out of them. What? What was that? That was weird. There's only one person who can tell us more about what's happening in Orono, Lord Von Sanctus himself. Okay, but do you think he's going to help you, though? We don't have a choice. We'll just have to see what we can get out of him. And if that didn't work, I'd just grab the information I needed out of his mind.
The Duke's manor is in the upper district west of here. But I'd be careful if I were you. The Duke of a Pillar family is not someone to be trifled with.
That's never stopped me before.
Ha! Clearly.
Either way, it seems like I learned everything I could for now. It was time to move. Somewhere else. So, the Von Sanctus Manor? Okay. I'm gonna travel there. And then, I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we will resume. Be right back. And I'm back. Alright. My apologies, but Lord Von Sanctus isn't accepting any visitors. This isn't a visit. I need to talk to him right now. The nobleman gestured towards a guard who was standing at the door. Celeste, get them out of the way. What? We are going to see Von Sanctus. Either step aside or we're going to go through you. Wait, Tyrion, this does not sound legal. Let him in. What? I'm sure... Oh, who the heck is this? I'm sure Mr. Cuthbert has no untoward intentions. I think it would be best, everyone's best interest for him to speak with Lloyd. Sir, you can't be serious! Is there a problem? No, of course not. Please come in, Mr. Cuthbert. Thank you. Of course, I'm just happy to help. Know that I'm wishing you luck in the upcoming trial, Mr. Cuthbert. Right. Without another word, the mysterious man started to walk away from the manor. Oh, sorry, I didn't catch your name. You can call me Aster. Ah, wasn't Aster the high-profile noble that Mr. Morrison mentioned? He also owned the ship from which that threat to national security had been stolen. I looked at the nobleman, and then at Aster, who was walking farther and farther away. I really needed to know what he saw, but I knew they'd never let me into the manor a second time. The trial was coming up, and I needed to make a choice. Do I talk to Aster or Von Sanctus? We already had Rika's testimony, even if it contradicted the lack of magic traces. But most important aspect of this case was the mistweaving phantom. I would have to just focus on Von Sanctus for now. The Duke's attendant led us into the manor before stopping at a closed door. I could hear voices coming from inside it. One of the voices was distinctly Lloyd's. I'd recognize that nasally, high-pitched whine anywhere. Wait here, I need to inform the Duke of your arrival. He entered the room while we waited outside. So, do you want to tell me what that was about? What? You were trying to sick me on those two like some kind of dog. I'm not some goon you can use to threaten people like that. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just... You're usually way more level-headed than that. You've been acting differently since we got here. Tyrion, did something happen here? I'm sorry for barking orders at you like that. I grew up here and I really don't like what's happening. Things are so much better now and I don't want whatever's happening to ruin that for everyone. Okay, I get it. Just don't do that again, okay? If you ever need to talk to someone, let's just focus on the investigation for now. Okay. As we entered the room, we came upon Lloyd Von Sanctus speaking with another unfamiliar individual. I just knew you meeting the Crown Prince was a disaster waiting to happen. What? I heard about what happened. Crown Prince Aster let you in, didn't he? That man was the Crown Prince? I knew I'd recognize that name somewhere. This is what I got for not reading the paper more regularly. Okay, one thing at a time. Since I have you here, do you mind if I ask you some questions about Orono? Absolutely not! Get out of my house! Why not indulge him, Lloyd? He seems harmless. Coraline! Anyways, you're waiting for Violetta to return, aren't you? He stayed silent for a while before he let out a heavy sigh. Very well. I'll answer your questions, if only to show how little of a case you have. Maybe you can convince your client to accept the futility of his situation. Thank you, Miss, I am Coraline Sybil, head of House Sybil, and Weirengard's Duchess of Law. Coraline Sybil, occupation Duchess, age 38, the head of House Sybil, and the Minister of Justice. Her noble house is one of the 4 pillar families, and is the most powerful of them. Her family has managed the judicial and legislative branches of Weirengard's government for generations. Oh boy. Wait. Look at my runestone. What's this? A runestone? It's my attorney's runestone. I guess they must give the older models to people of your station. As the Duke of Commerce, my runestone is always the latest model. Can I see it? No. Oh no, is that a steamed hams? Oh. Is that a brief steamed hams reference? Oh. A brand new runestone. At this time of year, in this study. May I see it? The charges. I don't suppose you'd be willing to drop the charges you've laid against Drakigan? Ha! I thought you were smarter than that. It was worth a shot, but it's obvious you're not one for a competition. Why else would you be trying so hard to squash a small company? Oh, is that what you think? How simple-minded of you! Am I wrong? Von Sanctus Industries is massive and has operations throughout Weirengard. He's just one merchant in one city. That one merchant is spreading insidious ideas like it's the plague. So encouraging workers to unionize and protect themselves is insidious? Oh yes, it sounds very flowery and marvelous when he says it. But have you ever stopped to think about what he's doing? He's encouraging those at the bottom to stand away and stand together and take power away from those above them. What's the difference between that and insurrection? They're advocating for their basic human rights.
And do you want to know something? That's not entirely unreasonable. I'll admit that I'm actually pleased that fewer employees are getting hurt in this city.
Oh, really?
You may think I'm heartless, but I'm not a monster. If these unions kept people safe, simply, I would take no issue with it. But it's never going to stop there. You give these people power, and they'll just become hungry for more. They'll take and take and take until there's nothing left for the rest of us.
So they'll do what you do.
The difference is that they won't care when our society devolves into anarchy.
Coraline Sybil. You've been awfully quiet. I didn't want to interrupt. Yet you're just as responsible for the commoner's suffering as he is. Tell me, Mr. Cuthbert, do you think artificery plays a vital role in our society? Of course I do. It's the only way for us commoners to use arcane magic. Correct. The existence of the arcane refineries is essential for our society to function. So, Mr. Cuthbert, would you ever work in one? No, but you wouldn't. Because you were afforded privileges that many others do not have. No one wants to do that sort of work, but someone has to for our society to function. That's... Everyone has their role in Weirengard. And more often than not, people don't receive a role they like. No one decides what kind of circumstances they're born into. Only the cosmic balance decides that. Cosmic balance? Please don't get us started on that. The cosmic balance is the chaos of the universe, the law of averages made manifest. No one can control the outside forces that determine their lives. Some are born into the aristocracy, and some are born into poverty. That's awfully easy to accept when you're born in the former. The world is not fair. It has never been fair. We build systems to keep it from crumbling under its own cruelty. Systems that benefit you. Systems that protect the aristocracy and grind everyone else down until they've outlived their usefulness. There must be stability, even if it causes discomfort. The chaos of the universe may seem cruel, but it's fair. The system wouldn't be this way if it didn't work. Okay. The reasoning there is a little off, but okay. False reports. Since you two care about the system so much, you should know that someone's abusing it. Is that so? I'm sure you've heard about the Mist-Weaving Phantom. I believe they've been stealing official records from the unions and the Dracagon Trading Company. They've been using those records to craft false reports about hostile tensions between them. That's... He paused for a moment. Is something wrong? I think what he's saying is actually quite plausible. Wait, really? There has been something peculiar about the recent string of robberies, namely who they've been targeting. Are you talking about how they've hit the union offices? The robberies. I'm sure I'll regret telling you this, but there's something about his targets that hasn't been released to the public. Many of the individuals who were robbed were secretly plotting treason against the kingdom. Are you only saying that because they were members of the unions? I'm saying that because law enforcement found hidden illegal communications, weapons, and explosives at the sites of most of the robberies. Oh, it was strange. There were many times when the victims returned home to find their houses ransacked. When the City Watch arrived to investigate the crime, they noticed one peculiarity. The victims never called the City Watch to report the crime. Someone else did. Despite the clear fact that a crime had occurred, some of the victims resisted attempts to search their home. The Knights found that quite suspect and found that as probable cause. They found evidence of treason when they searched the victims' homes. It was as if the Phantom were intentionally targeting those who were plotting against the crown. Arrested insurrectionists. Within the last few months, there have been an increasing amount of Orono citizens who have been arrested for treason. The Mist-Weaving Phantom seems to be robbing these individuals. By doing so, they've been bringing the City's Watch attention to them. Okay. Alright, Mist-Weaving Phantom. Lastly, they have also targeted individuals who have been plotting against the king. No one ever spots them, and they never leave any evidence behind, hence the name. What reason could the thief possibly have to do that? It's clear the thief wants the crown to be aware that insurrection is brewing within Orono. Okay. And those with false reports, a far more dire situation is being painted. Who do you think would benefit the most from something like that? One prolific noble came to mind. Grand General Steelwind is involved in this somehow, I'm sure of it. Coraline, I understand you've always cared for him. However, even you must admit he's never been the same since that tragedy with Ophelia. Even so, it's not my place to decide that. It will be up to the House of Lords. Really? Even now? You have no evidence. The House won't condemn Lucio based on hearsay. Until then, the Grand General will fulfill his role in our kingdom. Even while countless innocent lives have been lost under his watch? Soon the Grand General will be obsolete, he thinks happily. Huh. Could the mist-weaving phantom really be an agent of Lucio Steelwind? But if their intention was to reveal insurrectionists, they have bothered robbing the merchant shipments. Was it just to create a cover to hide their true intentions? Either way, if the phantom was at the refinery that morning, it's possible Justin spotted them. They'd remained unseen throughout their string of robberies. Did the phantom attack Justin to keep their identity hidden? The trial was coming up soon, and I still didn't have any definitive evidence to prove Justin was attacked. But it couldn't be helped. I'd run out of time. I would just need to work with what I had. Alright, we're in court. Rika, are you okay? Ha! Do you even need to ask? Of course I'm not okay! This place is crawling with knights and nobles! I understand your reservations, but there's nothing to worry about. They're just here to watch the trial. I really appreciate you coming to testify, Miss Tudor. I can imagine it's difficult for you to return here again. What?
My apologies, perhaps I've said too much.
Let's just get this over with. Alright. That's the same judge.
Court is now in session for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready.
Very well. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges?
Stefanik Dracogen is the owner of the Dracogen Trading Company, located in the city of Orono. His company has many businesses ventures in Orono and Rathholm, but his business is most known for the production of artificery devices.
Ah, I thought I recognized the name. I'm quite pleased with my Dracogen brand dishwasher.
Be that as it may, Your Honor, Mr. Dracogen is charged with criminal negligence resulting in death. The accident occurred within the Orono Arcane refinery owned by his company. The victim, Justin Way, leaned against a damaged guardrail, causing it to break. As a result, he fell into a vat of volatile chemicals. Attempts were made to save him, but by the time they could neutralize the vat, he was already dead.
That's certainly a very gruesome way to go.
The defendant displayed clear negligence in maintaining the refinery's facilities. As such, the responsibility for Mr. Way's death falls squarely on his shoulders.
Objection!
Your Honor, this case isn't nearly as mundane as the prosecution is making it out to be. Justin Way didn't fall into that vat because of a faulty guardrail. He fell because he was pushed off the catwalk by an arcane spell.
Mr. Cuthbert, are you trying to say that the victim was murdered?
One of the witnesses claims that they saw a spell hit Mr. Way before he fell into the vat. However, that testimony is completely contradicted by the lack of magical traces found anywhere near the catwalk. Except there were magical traces present at the time of Justin's death, Steelwind. This leather strap was dropped by the victim shortly before his death. If you were to scan it, you'll find traces of conjuration magic on it. A spell could have been cast on that strap prior to Justin entering the refinery. There's no evidence to suggest that the spell was cast within the refinery.
May I remind you that Justin Way was a commoner? Why would he possess something with a magical trace on it?
I could think of a myriad of reasons, and none of them imply that this case was a homicide.
I must agree, Mr. Cuthbert. That seems like quite the leap in logic. What would motivate anyone to commit such an act against Mr. Way anyways?
That's simple, Your Honor. Mr. Way was killed because he spotted the Mistweaving Phantom mid-robbery.
Mistweaving Phantom?
It's the moniker of a serial robber who just happened to rob the Arcane refinery the morning of Mr. Way's death. However, those thefts have no bearings on this case.
How can you be so sure?
It's not as if the Phantom has been apprehended. We don't know their motive. Even so, the only evidence that supports your theory is a small leather strap in Miss Tudor's testimony. If you're so confident, Steelwind, why don't we bring said witness onto the stand so she can testify herself? Fine. Let's hear what she has to say. But I'm sure you know that even she has no idea what she saw. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. She seemed to be okay, but she looked pretty nervous in the lobby. I only hoped that this wouldn't be too much for her. So, you seek the Deathbringer songstress. Scaled Lord. Was she seriously gonna do that here? What? I lie between life and death, heaven and hell! None are worthy of my name, so consider this a courtesy. I am Masorka Tudor, Mage of Evocation and the Ashen Lord of Orno. I wasn't aware that Arcane had a title like that. The world has really changed a lot in recent years. Your Honor, the witness is a business owner in Orno. She runs a cafe. I'm the Ashen Lord of Orno run a cafe. I ask myself that question every day. Mika, could you please not do this right now? It helps me cope, okay? Miss Tudor, can you please testify about what you saw at the refinery that morning? And I think we could all do without the verbal flourishes. Fine. All right, witness testimony. I was delivering food to Justin that morning, but I didn't see him anywhere in the freight area. I went looking for him and spotted him on the catwalk. He looked like he was talking to someone, and that's when I saw a flash of magical light. Justin got blasted with a spell. It ripped apart the guardrail he was leaning on, and he fell into that vat of chemicals. I told one of the workers what happened. They tried to save him, but I guess it was too late. I'm sure Mr. Cuthbert has told you this, witness, but we didn't find any traces of magic near the catwalk. I know what I saw. Someone definitely used magic on him. She seemed very sure of that. She definitely wasn't lying. But I still couldn't figure out why there weren't any traces of magic there. And there was something off about what she said, but I wasn't sure what. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. All right, cross-examination. Delivering food. Let's see. Is he normally in the freight area when you make your deliveries? Yeah, but I guess he was doing something in the refinery. According to Drakian, the victim only worked in the freight department. He definitely wasn't doing his job when he was in the refinery building. Do you have any idea why he was there? I don't know. He didn't talk much about what he did, so I just assumed he was supposed to be there. What about... Okay, looking for him and spotted him on the catwalk. Did you see who he was talking to? No, they were too high up and the catwalk was blocking them. But he looked kind of angry. He also looked a little scared. What? Do you think he was talking to the thief? He might have spotted them robbing my client's office.
Objection!
That is pure speculation on your part, Mr. Cuthbert. At the very least, you need a witness to even entertain that theory. And the current witness didn't see who the victim was talking to. I'm compelled to agree, Miss Steelwind. Got us there. They saw a flash of magical light. Okay. Have you been able to figure out what kind of spell he got hit with? No, I've been thinking, but I've never seen a spell like that. My expertise is in evocation magic, and that spell looked completely different from the spells I cast. May I remind the court that the Inquisition found no traces of evocation magic at the scene of Mr. Way's death. And evocation couldn't have ripped the guardrail apart. Which can only mean that a spell from a different school of magic broke it. Or the witness is simply grieving and doesn't remember what happened. We have records that show that the guardrail was damaged and in need of repair. My client's contractors assured him that the damage wasn't severe. Yet the guardrail broke apart anyway. If you want to posit that a spell broke the guardrail, you have to prove it. I ripped apart the guardrail he was leaning on and he fell into the vat of chemicals. I know this must be difficult for you, but can you remember any more details about the moment Justin fell? I guess I need to know what details you want. How did the spell affect Justin, maybe? What did the spell do to Justin? How did it affect him? After that flash of light, it looked like he lost his balance. He tried to catch himself on the guardrail, but it was already broken apart. He fell right into the vat of chemicals. Witness, could you add this detail to your testimony? Okay. He ripped apart after that he tried to catch himself on it and fell into the vat of chemicals. And remember, okay, hang on. How did the spell affect Justin? That is interesting to me. That's interesting to me. Okay. Her testimony is the best piece of evidence we have. Is it really a good idea to find a contradiction in it? Even she doesn't know what happened, and there's something nagging at me. If I can find it, it will put us one step closer to the truth. If you say so. I would just need to look at the details she's testifying about and find out what doesn't fit. Alright. They tried to save him. Let's see. How did they try to save him? The chemicals that the victim fell into were extremely volatile and corrosive. They poured a neutralizing solution into the vat to keep it from eating away at any implement they used to fish him out. The downside of this process was that it took far too long before they could remove the victim. I thought those chemicals were just toxic. Are you telling me those dissolved him while he was still alive? I winced. I really wanted to avoid letting her find out about that. Perhaps we should move on. Let's see. Let's look at our evidence then. Alright, what do we got? We have no spells. What about the autopsy report? After falling into a vat of molten aetherite, only his bones and some personal effects could be recovered. He was wearing this ring. It somehow wasn't dissolved by the molten aetherite in the vat. The Kingsguard and the stolen shipment we don't know about. The leather strap, it has 6 with conjuration magic on it. And spotted him. She saw it get blasted with something to the shape of an exploding prism. The spell destroyed the guardrail, the catwalk, and pushed Justin into the vat. Wait, but she said this pushed him in. This is different, right? Yeah, there we go. Rika, there's something off about your testimony. Really? It's the same as what I told you before. The mistake was mine. I was so focused on trying to figure out what the spell was and who cast it. I didn't even think about what it actually did to Justin. This whole time, we assumed that the spell pushed him into the vat. But how could it have pushed him into the vat if he only fell after the guardrails had been ripped apart? What? Rika, you said that Justin fell because he tried to catch himself on the guardrail. I thought the spell had pushed Justin while simultaneously ripping the guardrails apart. But it didn't push Justin at all. I guess that makes sense, but does that really change anything? It does, because it raises another question. If the spell produced enough force to rip the guardrails apart, why didn't it appear to affect Justin at all? It didn't appear to affect the victim because there was no spell. Justin Way broke the guardrail because it was faulty. No, I saw it! He only fell in because the guardrail was already destroyed. Your Honor, the defense brought this witness to testify, only contradict during their own cross-examination. They have no case. My witness is certain that she saw a spell destroy the guardrail. Your witness is a business associate of the defendant. She clearly has every reason to lie in her testimony. So are you basically accusing my witness of perjury, Steelwind? I am. It's not as if this is her first time breaking the law. What? Miss Tudor, I understand that you run a cafe in the food district. This cafe would not exist without the generous patronage of the defendant. Yeah, but you must feel quite indebted to him. After all, he saved you from the kind of life you lived before. Rika, what is she talking about? You truly didn't know, Mr. Cuthbert. Before your witness ran her cafe, she had another vocation. She survived by robbing the shipments coming into Orono Harbor. Ooh, Rika, that's not true, is it? So many things changed after you left, Tyrion. Several years ago, Miss Tudor was part of a band of thieves who would frequently rob shipments addressed to Von Sanctus Industries. Her group was eventually arrested, and she only avoided a sentence to the dungeons by taking a plea deal. Oh. Several years ago, Masorica Tudor was part of a band of thieves. They would frequently rob shipments and addressed to Von Sanctus Industries from the Arno Harbor. They were eventually arrested, and Masorica only avoided time in the dungeons by taking a plea deal. Oh my. Did she seriously do all of that the years I was gone? I knew her. I grew up with her. Had things really changed that much? Even so, the defense still maintains trust in the witness's testimony. I believe the Mist-Weaving Phantom struck the refinery that morning. They attacked Justin Way with magic. Is that so? And how do you know that the current witness isn't this phantom? What? She was coincidentally present when the robbery occurred, and she's a registered mage, not to mention that her little gang all those years ago used that same name. What? I'd always thought that nickname sounded too much like something she'd come up with. Is she seriously involved with them? I thought you never backed down from a foe, Mr. Cuthbert. You could make a great case for your client by indicting Miss Tudor in the robberies and subsequently the victim's death. What will you do? No. There could be any number of explanations for what was happening. Urban myths tended to be distorted by the public. It's possible people have just been calling this thief the Mist-Weaving Phantom because of the similarities between the robberies. The defense has no further questions for the witness. She is dismissed. I thought you were more objective than that. I don't care what she's done in the past. I know my friend, and I know she's not a murderer. Clearly, what happened that morning was the result of simple negligence. Your Honor, for our next witness, the prosecution would like to call Orem White to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, please call the Inquisition Commander to the stand. Commander, as I'm sure you've heard, Mr. Cuthbert is trying to connect the accident to the robberies of the Mist-Weaving Phantom. Please testify about the City Watch's findings regarding the robberies.
Sure.
Witness testimony.
So this phantom has been hitting a lot of places, mostly shipments coming into the harbor. Doesn't matter what kind of lock or security the place has, he can get in no problem. He's made off with a bunch of loot, and the City Watch has been scratching their heads looking for him. I know you think the guy hit the refinery too, but it doesn't match with what we know about him. The guy only stole some documents and left the defendant's gold. This guy never does that.
Okay. The connection between the Mist-Weaving Phantom and Justin's death was already difficult to prove. There was no evidence, but they had to be related somehow. It would be too much of a coincidence otherwise. How could I prove that? Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. All right, cross-examination. Head has been hanging in a lot of places. Okay. What is usually stolen?
All kinds of things. Goods, appliances, weapons, even some artificery devices. Not to mention there's that...
To amend the commander's testimony, there was a sensitive shipment stolen from a kingdom ship.
Is there any reason why you're being so vague, Miss Steelwind? You're gonna win the Vague Poster Award.
The gag order has come from the Grand General himself. The item in question is not relevant to this case.
I see.
Doesn't matter what kind of lock or security. Okay. Why are you referring to the Phantom as a he? I thought the City Watch didn't know anything about them.
Are you seriously nitpicking me for that?
I just think it would be in the court's interest not to have assumptions taken as fact.
Scaled Lord, you kids these days and your pronouns. Look, chances are that this guy is a guy. The stats back me up on that.
Oh yeah? How many of your men did it take to arrest me, Orem? Celeste, while I appreciate your sentiment, I wouldn't brag about that here.
Fine. If it will get all of you off my back, I'll change my damn testimony.
They can get in no problem. Pronouns, yes, okay. They made off. Are they really having that much trouble identifying the thief?
They're good at covering their tracks. They don't leave any evidence, and they never trip any alarms. Half the time, it's like they disappear into thin air.
Could the Phantom be a mage proficient in conjuration magic? They could be teleporting to bypass any security altogether.
Maybe. But most security systems are designed to detect and block teleportation inside. You can't teleport inside unless you already have some kind of magical beacon already in place. Not to mention that the locks leading inside were obviously picked and unlocked. If anything, those systems don't prevent teleportation out of its field. So maybe they're using conjuration magic to get out.
But I doubt a place like the Arcane Refinery would have a system as sophisticated as that. I don't know, I think the person hit the refinery too, okay? How so?
The thief has been robbing a lot of merchant ships. Some of them even belong to Von Sanctus Industries. Places like the Arcane Refinery probably have some gold. The owner had been mentioned he had some coins in the safe that got broken into. But all of that is below the Phantom's pay grade. Some of the things the Phantom stole were worth 10 times the amount of gold in that safe. That's not even mentioning the fact that...
Also, he is a generic pronoun for an unknown, so Orem isn't just a chud, he is an educated chud. You know, Orem is a guy who I think is a lot smarter than the game gives us credit for. Yeah, I think he's smart, but I think he's just like, you know what? Nothing I do matters, I'm not even gonna try. I think that's kind of his MO. The defendant's gold. Sometimes information can be more valuable than gold, Commander.
Maybe. But I don't think our guy would risk so much for a couple of business documents. Your client might have some enemies, but the Phantom's good enough to hit the merchant ships guarded by armed soldiers. Every time they hit a place, they run the risk of getting caught. The theft happened this morning when the refinery was already open. Employees were already on the ground, too. Anyone could have spotted him. It just doesn't make sense for the Phantom to take a risk like that for so little gain.
His argument is a little weak. I doubt the theft at the refinery was just a coincidence. But he has a point. The serial robber never leaves any evidence. There's nothing to tie him to that theft this morning. Him, hey! The Phantom's been hitting a lot of places. Hey, you can get in, no problem. They made off with a bunch of loot. City Watch been scratching their heads. I know you think the person, but doesn't match what we know about them. That person never does that. Okay, hang on. They broke in near the catwalk. They didn't steal the gold inside. They took the business documents. Plus, they even also... Hence the name. Okay. Alright, and then we got arrested insurrectionists. Shipping report. So hang on. The thief who hit the refinery only stole some defendant's stock and left it a gold. This person never does that. Hang on. They've also been they broke into Stephanic Drought near the catwalk where Justin Way fell from. What about Masorka? No. Well, that's Von Sanctus. Okay, it wasn't him. Union tensions. Leather strap. I'm trying to figure out what best to present here, you know? We have her two testimonies. There have been an increased amount of Orono citizens who've been arrested for treason. The misweaving Phantom seems to be robbing these individuals. Yeah. Hang on. Made off. Mostly shipments coming into the harbor. Doesn't come into electric security. They can get in. They made off with a bunch of loot. City Watch has been scratching their heads looking for them. I know you think the person hit the refinery too, but it doesn't match with what we know. Sure. The thief who hit the refinery only stole some documents and left the defendants. What about this one? The arrested insurrectionists. Objection! No? Alright. Yeah, this piece of evidence. Okay. We don't have like a strike system in this game, I noticed. You can just like present forever. What about the Phantom itself? Okay, just the Phantom itself. Commander, it's clear you think the Phantom wouldn't have gone to all that trouble to steal a few business records.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. This person has enough skills to break into heavily guarded buildings. Why would they bother with some business records?
That's where you're wrong, Orem.
Kid, why do you always have to do this to me?
There's another series of thefts where nothing inherently valuable was taken. The Mistweaving Phantom also broke into many of the offices owned by the workers' unions. Again, you're assuming that the Phantom broke into said offices. It's entirely plausible that a refinery employee who was part of the union stole from both of those offices. A union member may have been able to access my client's office, but they wouldn't have such an easy time entering the union offices, as many of the unions have anticipated sabotage, have invested in state-of-the-art security systems. They've taken precautions to make sure that only higher-ranking officials have access to these documents. There's only one person with the skills to break into these locations, and that's the same thief who's been robbing those ships in the Orono harbor. And what possible motive could the Phantom have to steal these documents? That's simple. They wanted detailed information on my client's company and the workers' unions. In all of your wild speculation, I think you haven't considered one possibility, Mr. Cuthbert. And what's that? That the unions themselves are the ones who robbed your client. You said it yourself. Only high-ranking executives had access to the union documents that went missing, and none of those executives knew any spells that could rip apart the guardrail. None of them were even mages. That's ridiculous. Why would the workers' unions rob themselves? Simple. They wanted to cover their tracks and play the victim when they were the true culprits. After all, we have several reports confirming hostility between your client and the workers' unions. I think you'll find that those reports are exaggerated, if not entirely false. My client and Noah Morrison can testify to that fact. They obviously would. An employee just died due to your client's negligence. Mr. Drakigan has every reason to feign amicability with the unions. It would avoid further outrage. And Noah Morrison has no choice but to do the same, lest he be incriminated in the thefts himself. And what proof do you have that they aren't telling the truth? As I've said, I have several reports from many different individuals. They came from multiple, diverse sources, and they all paint a very vivid picture of aggression between your client and the unions. Furthermore, they are far less biased than Stefanik Drakigan or Noah Morrison. She had a point, and I couldn't claim that reports were false without any proof. If you want to implicate Mr. Morrison, I think it's only fair that he be allowed to defend himself. Fine, let him testify. But it will be his word against dozens. It appears that both counsels are in agreement. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Morrison to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Hi, my name's Noah Morrison. I'm the harbor master of Orono Harbor and union chief of the Orono Industrial Union.
Thank you for taking the stand today, Mr. Morrison. As you know, there was a theft that occurred at the refinery this morning. The prosecution is trying to imply that you may have been involved.
Yeah, I heard.
Could you please testify about the thefts that occurred at the union offices? It's clear you also believe they're related to the theft at the refinery. Any details that might help us prove that would help a lot.
All right.
Witness testimony. All right, here we go.
I don't know where all these reports of hostile tensions came from, but everything's great between Drakigan and us. Whoever this Phantom is, they've got nothing to do with the nonsense. They've been hitting everyone. It's not just our offices and the ships. They broke into some of the union members' homes, too. Those poor blokes had everything stolen from them. They even had to skip town because of it. They were good people, too. Solid, law-abiding citizens.
Oh no. As you can see, Mr. Morrison had very little motive to break into my client's office. The serial thief, meanwhile, has been robbing people all over the city. That's assuming the witness's testimony is true.
Take a look at the crime reports. You'll see that a lot of the victims were members of the union.
I unfortunately don't have access to the reports for those. What are you talking about? You're a prosecutor. Why wouldn't you have access to those reports? I'm not certain. I imagine it's related to the theft that occurred in the Imperial ship this morning. That was strange. Who would have the authority to prevent the Steelwind from accessing those records? Her father? In any case, Orono is a large city with an average rate of crime. There's nothing to prove that any of those thefts are related to this either. There isn't even anything related that proves those thefts are related to each other. We would see about that. No, we got it. Well, I think we already have the statement where he said they're law-abiding citizens, right? Who have been arrested. The misdemeanor seem to be robbing those individuals. Yeah. Hang on. Treason. Yeah. No? What? No way. No way. You have to skip town because of it. Alright, hang on. We'll go through. So you say...
Look, whoever you're getting those reports, they're completely wrong.
Witness, these reports came from multiple sources throughout the course of several months. For obvious reasons, the individuals who made them will remain anonymous. But said reports came from multiple members of the common folk, aristocracy, and law enforcement. We also have several crime reports of violent encounters between your union members and the defendant's employees.
What?
What was going on here? Mr. Morrison seemed just as confused as I was. Were those reports falsified, or were these encounters happening without his knowledge? This phantom... Okay. Assuming that these aren't just a string of unrelated thefts.
I'll admit that Orono is a large city. Break-ins weren't exactly non-existent before this. All of my colleagues started getting hit after this phantom showed up. That can't be a coincidence.
It's entirely possible that availability bias is at work here. People will always try to draw trends between genuine coincidences. She was being annoyingly obtuse about this, but I wouldn't get anywhere until I could prove she was wrong. The offices, okay. Were those homes as secure as the union offices?
Not at all. We're all just industry workers at the end of the day.
How did you get such a sophisticated security system for the union offices, then?
It was a generous donation from some friends we have in the city banking house.
The banking house?
I guess there are some folks, though, there who believe in what we're doing.
Regardless, that means anyone could have broken into these houses. It wouldn't require an expert that's as adept at committing robberies as the Phantom is. Poor blokes and everything. Okay. What would motivate them to leave?
Orono is a hot spot for trade and industry. There are lots of jobs here now, but housing's gotten expensive. I'm guessing they had to move somewhere cheaper in the countryside.
What, you're guessing? Did they tell you why they were leaving?
No, a lot of them were really down about it. They didn't seem too eager to say more.
That's what we have to present on, but hang on. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sure they were great people.
It's a damn shame. They were good people and they had families to feed. Orono has been going in such a good direction, too. Crime's been down and employment's been up. I really wish we could have shared that with them.
I can understand robbing the nobility and even the merchant ships, but I still can't believe they were robbing commoners, too. It's a little strange, honestly. If they were after valuables, why would they bother robbing them at all? The house of an industrial worker wouldn't have that much to steal, at least not when compared to the merchant ships. Maybe it was because it was easy? They probably wouldn't have any kind of magical security. Possibly, but that still felt strange to me. Let's do number 4. Arrested insurrectionists. No? What? This is confusing. Been plotting. No one ever spots them. They never leave any evidence. Okay. Let's see. It's got to be arrested insurrectionists somewhere, right? No. Hang on. Okay, I'm very confused here. Is it the misweaving phantom? Okay. I really didn't want to contradict Mr. Morrison, but this was the only piece I had left. There was nothing else that tied the robberies together, and I still didn't have a full idea of what the Phantom's motive was. But I had to do this. It was the only way to find out what was really going on in my city. Mr. Morrison, you said that the targets of the thefts were law-abiding citizens. Unfortunately, that's not entirely true.
What are you talking about? I knew most of them. They were good people.
They may be, but there's one unfortunate fact that tied them all together. They were all later arrested for treason against the crown.
What?
That's ridiculous. There have been no reports of that sort submitted to the City Watch.
What you're saying is crazy, my boy. I've known those people. Some of them were close friends of mine. They would never have gotten mixed up in that kind of business.
I'm sorry, Mr. Morrison, but I've heard otherwise. The Mistweaving fandom hasn't just been stealing valuable items. They've been specifically targeting citizens who were secretly plotting against the kingdom. They're part of a larger plot that involves everyone in the city of Arano. What are you even basing this off of, anyways? This testimony came directly from Lloyd von Sanctus, the Duke of Commerce and the ruling Lord of Arano. Lloyd von Sanctus gave you this information. That's right, Steelwind. Lloyd von Sanctus, the plaintiff of this trial. Lloyd von Sanctus, the man who would have every reason to have you fail. Tyrion? I may have miscalculated. But you seem to be so confident. Perhaps we should have the plaintiff testify so we can know for sure. Did von Sanctus really set me up?
How could I fall for something like that?
But it made so much sense. The Phantom's targets, the false reports of hostilities, all of it seemed to be tied together by some greater plot. There had to be a kernel of truth to what he told us earlier. Maybe he was telling the truth earlier. He might testify honestly if we called him. No. These charges against Drakigan were laid by him. Even if he had told us the truth earlier, he'd never sabotage his own case by taking the stand now.
We will contact the Duke of Commerce and ask if he's willing to testify. Although I can already imagine what his answer will be.
Objection!
What?
Without warning, a large man pushed open the doors of the courtroom and marched towards the stand. Mr. Morrison sputtered a grunt of confusion before he was quickly carried out of the room by two knights who had accompanied him. The man had a large figure that was only dwarfed by the gigantic battle axe he was holding in his hand. He was covered in scars, and he held the jaded expression of someone who lived in death and combat. His uniform was similar to the prosecutor's clothing. Could he be who I thought he was? Oh boy.
Lloyd need not take the stand. My testimony will suffice. What? Who are... Father? What are you...
Father? That's her dad? Lucio Steelwind, the Grand General, age 66, the head of House Steelwind, and the Grand General of Weirengard's military. He is apparently responsible for the death of countless revolutionaries. He seems to have a strained relationship with his daughter. This was the Grand General of Weirengard, the man responsible for countless deaths in the countryside. Von Sanctus suspected that he was involved in the thefts and false reports.
I've been watching. Neither of you will get anywhere at this rate.
Grand General, this is quite unprecedented.
And?
It looked like the judge ran through 1,000 possible responses in his head before he simply swallowed his fear and stayed silent.
Father, why are you... Again with that. I will not accept insubordination even from you, prosecutor.
Grand General Steelwind, why have you interrupted this trial?
To give testimony that will substantiate the defense's claims.
What? You can't just... Your Honor, do something! No, I think I'm okay. It is legal for people to just barge in and take the stand. Yes. What was he doing? None of this made any sense.
I hear no objections. I'll be giving my testimony now.
Wait, what? The myth of consensual testimony giving.
The thief has been striking the houses of multiple commoners, seemingly at random, or so it would seem. And without fail, the city watch was called to the scene of the crime,
within hours of the crime being discovered.
It was clear someone other than the victims was reporting these robberies. place. Perhaps a bystander truly did make the report. And after searching each scene, the City Watch found evidence of treason within their homes. The so-called evidence was poorly hidden, if at all. These individuals were arrested by my men and placed into custody in secret. However, they were clearly not guilty of treason. Those are his thoughts, okay. Why was I seeing so many of his thoughts? The Eye of Horus only works on targets who were unguarded or emotionally stressed. And he looked like the least stressed person in the room right now. I guess it didn't matter who the witness was. This was just another cross-examination. I just needed to do what I've always done. Pull the truth out of him. I just hoped I could get through this without being charged with treason. Alright, cross-examination. Press. Or so it would seem, Grand General. Mr. Cuthbert, please refrain from contradicting the witness without cause. I was just interpreting the meaning behind his words. It's clear he thinks there's some relation between the thefts. Am I wrong, Grand General? I suppose not.
Alright. With the serial robbers on the loose, the City Watch must have been getting a lot of these calls. Yes, the City Watch recognized a trend. At some point, they arrived in anticipation of what they'd find.
It was all so carefully orchestrated, each piece perfectly falling in succession.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, Grand General.
You've never stopped to ask yourself why?
It was far too convenient.
For one thing.
Clear someone other than the victims, yeah. The victim isn't always the one to report a crime like this. More often than not, it's a passing neighbor that calls it in. A lot of the reports were made by people who spotted a suspicious person leaving the premises.
And did those people make themselves known after the arrest? Did they provide testimony beyond the original report?
No, but
those reports were made in person, yet each time the City Watch was unable to find the individual who made the report. Is that normal, prosecutor?
Ooh. City Watch, right. And that was conveniently discovered each and every time?
Yes. Very easily, might I add.
Was it because the evidence was poorly hidden?
Yes. It's not uncommon for the discipline to be sloppy. Some are even arrogant enough to think they'd never be suspected. But the Eye of the Crown sees more than you'd think.
These individuals were arrested by my men and placed into custody in secret.
Objection!
Alright, interpret. Mr. Cuthbert! I know you have a flair for the dramatic, but don't shout such things at the man with a giant axe! Your Honor, I believe the witness knows more about the arrested individuals than he's letting on.
Oh.
Mr. Cuthbert? With the way the judge was looking at me, I'd have thought I was putting my head between the jaws of a lion. But it didn't matter who stood in my way. A noble, the Grand General, or the King himself. My mother may have been gone, but there were still people I cared about in Orono. Imagine testifying without a giant axe. Yes. Next time I have to testify, I'm going to bring mine. I wouldn't let the city I grew up in become the site of another one of his bloody massacres. Lucio Steelwind, I think you know the individuals you arrested aren't what they were reported to be. You know that they weren't guilty of treason.
That's correct.
What? What?
Objection!
Oh boy. Grand General, are you admitting that you arrested these individuals with the knowledge that the charges were false?
I never said that I arrested them for treason. I said that I took them into custody.
But for what reason, Grand General?
This phantom seems to be targeting certain individuals for some unknown reason. They seem to have targeted both Stefanik Drakogan and the workers' unions as well.
Grand General, there's no evidence that...
It is the truth, and the evidence must be found. Your Honor, suspend this trial to give the defense and prosecution time to investigate the crime further.
Of course, Grand General. As per the Grand General's request, I will be suspending this trial. Court proceedings for this case will resume tomorrow morning.
Make it the next day.
Court proceedings will resume Wednesday morning. Court is adjourned. He just gave us 2 days. Oh, hello.
So, out with it.
What?
You look like you want to say something.
If I didn't know any better, I would think that you tried to help us back there. I can't imagine you care all that much about workers' rights, or my client.
I have my reasons. This thief stole something quite important from an Imperial ship this morning.
Right, your daughter mentioned that it was a threat to national security.
It is in my best interest for the item to be found and this mist-weaving phantom brought to justice. But most importantly, I want to know who they are working for.
Are you trying to insinuate that it isn't you?
Is that what you think?
Honestly, I didn't know what to think at this point.
You always seem to arrive at the truth when no one else will. I've read the court transcripts from your past cases, so I already had some suspicions. And they were all but confirmed when you cross-examined me today. You will figure out what happened this morning, and you will use your eye to do so.
I tensed for a moment. Why did he phrase it like that? His thoughts were so easy to read during his testimony. Was this some kind of test? Well, I'm sure someone like you would have a great use for an eye like mine. I am so sorry. I didn't mean it like...
I understood what you meant. Well, get to work then. I'll be waiting for your results.
I don't take orders from you, Grand General.
Yet you still will do what I asked. It's in your nature.
I exhaled heavily. The more this mystery unraveled, the more uncertain I became of everything. I really wished Miss Tamora was here to help me. I could feel a migraine coming on. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I think I'm just a little exhausted. It's pretty late. Should we just head back to the inn and continue the investigation tomorrow? No, I want to take another look at the refinery before the Inquisition gets there. Ugh. The throbbing pain in my skull seemed to disagree with that course of action. Yeah, no, we're heading back to the inn. I'm fine, really. Tyrion, I know you're anxious about the trial, but you need to get some rest. I felt a tinge of irritation, but I knew she was just looking out for me. But I couldn't rest now, not with that serial thief on loose. Celeste, it's fine. It's not. You're going to work yourself. Would you just stay out of my way? Once again, my voice came out louder than I'd meant it to. Yeah, the graphics card. I'm not kidding. The first time that happened, there was a part of me that was like, oh no, is my graphics card glitching? But then I realized it was broadcasting it too, so there was no way that was happening. Fine, whatever. Do what you want. It was all because I returned to Orono. I was just dredging up emotions that needed to stay buried. That was all the more reason to get through this trial as soon as possible. The soreness in my head didn't seem to be going away anytime soon. She was right. I'd be better off investigating the scene after some rest. Save progress. As the night went on, I found myself falling into another nightmare. What the? A knock rang out on the door leading to Tamora Law Offices. Ruby Tamora let out an irritated grumble. Who the hell was bothering her after hours? I don't know who you think you are, but She froze when she saw Frey's son standing at her door. His bright blonde hair was covered in dirt and grime. The clothes that she'd seen Frey sew for him were tattered and torn. He looked like he hadn't eaten anything in days. He just stared blankly at her. What? What are you doing here? How did you even get here? I walked. What? We need to call someone. We need to get you back home. There's nothing there for me. This was her fault. If she'd just taken that deal, his mother would still be alive. Are you going to keep fighting the nobility? His words came out weakly. He sounded like a ghost. What? Miss Tamora, are you going to keep fighting them? Look, that's not important. We need to get you some help. I want to help you fight them. Tyrion, please. Just let me help you. Look. Just come inside. We need to get you something to eat. Then we can get you cleaned up. The boy said nothing as he clutched the final message that his mother had left him. It was the last comforting memory I'd ever have of her. It was something that I'd never experience again. Mom. It was another nightmare. It had been a while since I thought about that day. The nightmares were getting worse and worse. I really needed to get this case done with as soon as I could. Hey, are you up? Yeah. I felt like I should say something to her after what happened yesterday, but the words didn't come to me. Let's get to work. Yeah. We missed him yesterday, but Crown Prince Aster supposedly saw what happened to Justin during the accident. He might have seen something that Rika missed. I had no idea why the Crown Prince helped me back at Von Sanctus Manor, but he seemed more amicable to us than I'd have expected. But finding him in this large city was another matter. I was sure he was hidden away somewhere. There's also something else that Steelwind mentioned during the trial. Several years ago, Miss Tudor was a part of a band of thieves who would frequently rob shipments addressed to Von Sanctus Industries. Her group was eventually arrested, and she only avoided a sentence to the dungeons by taking a plea deal. She was coincidentally present when the robbery occurred, and she's a registered mage. Not to mention that her little gang all those years ago used that same name. Rika was supposedly a part of a band of thieves, and their thefts all those years ago seemed to be similar to that of the Phantom. Do you think one of them is involved in all of this? I think so, but I don't know why she wouldn't speak up about it if it was related to the case. We'll probably have to talk to her next. After all, I doubt it'll be easy to get an audience with Aster de Wierengard. As we exited our room, we suddenly came face to face with the Crown Prince. We all stood there stunned. What was he doing staying at a tavern for commoners? Aster, Your Highness. Tyrion Cuthbert? You know who I am? That wasn't usually a good sign. I do. I know you very well. Tyrion Cuthbert, the protege of the infamous Ruby Tamora. I'm your biggest fan! What? I can't believe it! The infamous Tyrion Cuthbert is standing right in front of my tavern room. What? I read all about your feats, Mr. Cuthbert. You successfully indicted the head of House Pierce. You didn't think twice about confronting a member of House Freyga. And you even defeated the Duke of Commerce in the chess tournament yesterday. Is it bad that I've become numb to the surprises this week? And you! You must be Celeste McCoy. You're Tyrion's first client of the Crimson Demon of the Eastern Kingdoms. How did you find out about that name? The Crimson what? Anyway, Your Highness, is it true that you witnessed the accident yesterday morning? Yes, I did. Are you going to interrogate me about what I saw? I'll answer whatever questions you have. Aster de Wierengard, occupation Crown Prince, age 26. The Crown Prince of Wierengard's royal family, and next in line to the throne. Despite his status, he seems to be a big admirer of me and Miss Tamora. He appears to hate the injustices perpetuated by the nobility as much as I do. Cool. First Lucio Steelwind, and now the Crown Prince. Why were so many of my supposed enemies being so agreeable this week? Oh, is the good guys and the bad guys might not be who we think they are theory coming true? I think it might be. Yeah. I just let out an exasperated sigh. I shouldn't look this gift horse in the mouth. First, we gotta show the prince our runestone. It's an attorney's runestone. It's proof that you're a certified attorney. I've never seen one of those up close before. Really? I thought the Crown Prince would be the first person to have a runestone like this. I have a runestone, but it's not an attorney's runestone. Finally, someone understands the difference. let's talk about you, Prince. So, Your Highness. Please, there's no need for that. Just call me Aster. He couldn't be serious, could he? After I got a look at him, he looked sincere. A little too sincere. He carried himself with the poise of a royal, but there was also a warm kindness and humility in his eyes. He sounded too good to be true, but maybe I was just jaded by the other aristocrats I'd met. What is the crown prince doing in a tavern like this, anyway? The Kingsguard were being far too overbearing. They were insistent that I return to the capital, but I've been planning this trip to Arno for days. I found an opportunity to sneak away from them and hired a guide to show me around the city. Are you talking about Noah Morrison? Ah, yes, Mr. Morrison. He told me quite a lot about the industrial complexities of Arno, and even more about the workers' unions. Is it really okay for you to disappear like that? The Kingsguard are probably freaking out over losing track of you. Oh, they worry far too much. I can take care of myself. He is a conjuration guy. I may not look it, but I'm one of the most powerful mages in this kingdom. That sounds awfully cocky, don't you think? You think so? There was so much optimism behind those eyes. How sheltered was this guy? What did you see? Anyways, Mr. Morrison told us you were present when the accident occurred. It was quite dreadful what happened. We only have one witness who actually saw Justin fall into that vat. I was wondering if you saw anything she didn't. I didn't see much, I'm afraid. It all happened very quickly. If you weren't yelling at that animal, I might not have even noticed him. There was an animal up on the catwalk, too. It looked to be some kind of hairless rodent, but it was abnormally large. I think he may have been trying to catch it. He even grabbed it at one point. Was he facing towards Drakigan's office when he was yelling at this rodent? I think so. Noah pointed out the office window earlier. It allowed Stefanik to oversee the refinery. Did you see anyone else up on the catwalk? No, my view of the catwalk was limited by my position. Witness testimony. Masorka Tudor was delivering Justin's breakfast to him, but she couldn't find him in the refrigerator area. She went looking for him and spotted him on the catwalk within the refinery. Aster de Rierengard was also there at the time and saw Justin yelling at a hairless animal. They both saw Justin get blasted by some sort of spell that took the shape of an expanding prism. This spell destroyed the guardrail of the catwalk and pushed Justin into the vat. This whole time I thought Justin had been yelling at the Phantom, but it turned out he was just yelling at a rat. It seemed that the only person who spotted the thief that day was Justin. All right. The accident. Did you see the moment that Justin fell in? Was he pushed off the catwalk by a spell? I'm not quite sure, but I definitely saw something magical. There was a flash of magical light centered on his position. The magical energy took the shape of a prism before blowing apart the guardrail. Justin lost his balance afterward and fell into the vat. Did you see what the spell looked like? Do you think you could identify it for us? The problem is that I'm almost sure that it wasn't a spell. It was the effect of some sort of artificery. How can you be so sure? It's difficult for someone who's not a mage to understand. When a mage casts a spell, they draw and harness the aether from within their own body. Artificery, on the other hand, draws aether from the natural ley lines that run through the ground. I am someone who has practiced arcane magic for my entire life. You can do that. Oh wait, what did he say? Oh shoot. I've slowly learned how to sense how aether moves around me. You can do that too? I thought I was the only one. Oh, that talent is quite a rarity, even among the royal family. I suppose I shouldn't expect anything less from the Crimson Demon. Stop calling me that. What spell was cast? So you could feel the aether was moving towards the source of that spell. Yes, it was quite distinct because of how high up he was. I could sense the aether rising out of the ground to his position on the catwalk. So the guardrail was broken apart by this artificery. Is that why there weren't any traces of magic up there? No. Artificery simply replicates the effects of an arcane spell. They leave traces of magic, just like spells cast by a mage do. I was wondering about that. Does artificery leave the same trace? But it does, okay. That also means our culprit wasn't necessarily a mage. Anyone could have used a device like that. Not necessarily. What do you mean? But the amount of aether being drawn was considerable. It was of much higher quantity than what most artificery devices are capable of. Whatever that device was, it was quite advanced and dangerous. Something like that wouldn't be commonly available to the public. The military would definitely have access to a weapon like that, too. It pointed to Lucio Steelwind, but that just made his actions during the trial all the more bizarre. Lucio Steelwind. What can you tell me about Grand General Steelwind? The Grand Gentleman is a difficult man to speak of. The Grand General. I called him the Grand Gentleman. Blech. In recent days, his name alone carries the weight of thousands of slaughtered innocents. I take it you don't care much for him? Not many do. Even the most heartless monster would see little sense in his bloody conquest in the countryside. I was surprised when he took the stand at the trial yesterday, but I'm sure it's just another plot to undermine the other pillar families. I had really hoped my arranged marriage to Lady Steelwind would sate his thirst for power, but it seems to have made it just worse. Wait, what did you just say? Oh no, they mentioned this last time. The Freyga lady, remember? Because she said something about she wanted to steal Aster from Arya? Yeah, I remember this. Of course, I suppose most of the nobility wouldn't be aware of it. My father and the Grand General have arranged for me to marry Lady Steelwind. What? She never told me she was engaged to the Crown Prince. Yeah, I wouldn't blame her. She's not exactly pleased with the arrangement. That woman despises me. What? Our marriage is purely political. A way to unify the royal family with the upper brass of the military. I admire her desire to bring prosperity to the common folk, but I unfortunately seem to represent everything she hates about this kingdom. She can't even stand speaking to me. Every time I'm around her, she can barely contain her contempt. Oh no. But I've made my peace with that. She's always cared more about her duty than anything else. When I take the throne, I will build her a compassionate kingdom that she can take pride in. I really wanted to believe him, but I knew better than to trust empty promises like that. I guess only time would tell what kind of ruler he would be. Stolen item. Aster, I've been hearing an awful lot about how the serial robber stole that item from your ship. Ah, that. The Kingsguard have been scrambling around trying to find it. Would you be able to tell me what they stole? I don't know. I've been having a lot of trouble trying to pin down what that thief was after. If they infiltrated your ship, they were taking a gigantic risk. They wouldn't have done that without a good reason. They stole several high-capacity arcane crystals attuned to the School of Evocation. Arcane crystals are pretty common, aren't they? They're what draw and provide power to artificery devices. The problem is that they're attuned to evocation, the most raw and destructive school of magic. Artificery that uses evocation is heavily supervised by the kingdom, and most devices that use them are extremely weak. He's conjuration, note that. These crystals were a shipment addressed to Von Sanctus Industries. They were meant to be received at port and used to construct weapons for use by the military. Are these crystals really that valuable? They have a large capacity to channel evocation magic. They're extremely potent in unleashing energy. In the wrong hands, they could produce an explosion with the power to level an entire block of this city. The stolen arcane crystals. Alright. Mistweaving Phantom stole a dangerous shipment of high-capacity arcane crystals. Yep, in the wrong hands, these crystals produce an explosion capable of destroying a city block. That's scary, yeah. Alright. Kingsguard have set up a blockade. Yeah, okay. And there have been mass reports of insurrection here, too. Whether these reports were true or not, my teeth clenched at the thought of what someone might do with those crystals. It was even worse to think about what the Grand General might do to stop that from happening. Okay, I think that answers all of my questions. Thank you, Aster. Of course! I'm just happy to help. I was hoping that the Crown Prince had spotted the thief, but all I saw was some hairless rodent. I would just need to look into my other leads and hope that that would lead somewhere. Either way, it was time to move somewhere else. What about this, the leather strap? Maybe I can help. Oh, okay. He doesn't know anything about it. right. What about Lucio? I would appreciate if you didn't speak with the Grand General unless necessary. I take it you don't care for him. How could I? My heart aches for the innocent people he slaughtered. All because of those supposed insurrections. If you really feel that strongly about it, why hasn't the royal family done anything to stop him? House Steelwind controls the only military force equipped to maintain order in Irengard. I can't say more, but their mages are also the only thing standing between us and war with the other kingdoms. They are our greatest asset while also being our greatest failure. Interesting. Can we ask about Arya? Lady Steelwind. I'm glad to see my fiancée is growing into her role. What? She never told me. Not exactly pleased. Okay. No, that's all the same. All right. Celeste? Never imagined I'd meet the Crimson Demon of the Eastern Kingdoms. Okay, how the hell did you find out about that nickname? My position as the Crown Prince makes me privy to stories like that. What is the Crimson Demon anyways? I don't want to talk about it. I decided to drop the subject. How about me? Can we talk about me? I can't believe I'm meeting Tyrion Cuthbert. I appreciate the admiration, but I don't see what's so special about me. Well, I've been an admirer of Ruby Tamora for a while, but your story is far more inspiring. You rose above the tragedy that befell your mother and became a force against the nobility. How do you know about that? I read about your story in the paper. A grieving child who walked into the woods in despair. That story made quite an impression on me. When I saw the story of Miss McCoy's trial, I recognized you immediately. I'm so glad that you survived. That's interesting. Yeah. What about Ruby? Is Ruby Tamora here as well? I was wondering if you could put in a good word for me. I've been wanting her autograph. You're the Crown Prince! Can't you just ask her yourself? I've tried. But the last time I saw her, she had some very strong words for me. That did make sense. She had more animosity towards the aristocracy than I did. Okay. What about Lloyd Von Sanctus? I heard about your chess match with the Duke of Commerce. I wish I could have seen it myself. There wasn't much to see. For all his arrogance, the Duke was a pushover. That just makes me regret it more. I would have loved to see that weasel put in his place. Isn't he one of the kingdom's dukes? I'd have thought you two would be more amicable. No one knows more about the oppression of the Four Pillars than I do. What? Oh boy. Okay. Oh, there's Justin Way, huh? Alright. What about Noah? He can't help with that. Alright, let's move, I guess, just to the coffee shop? I stepped through the doors of the cafe and found it completely empty. Rika was sitting near the kitchen, somberly looking out the window. Hi, Rika. Oh, hey, Tyrion. What? No grand declarations from the Dark Lord of Orono? I'm not really in the mood today. I scratched my head and scanned the empty restaurant. I never knew what to say in these situations. Can we talk? I still need help with this case. Sure. The trial. I'm sorry about what happened during the trial. I didn't know Steelwind would pull your record like that. I came to help you and Mr. Drakigan. I would have done it again if I had to. I'm really sorry about this. I know it's really none of my business, but I need to know this for the case. Was what Steelwind said about you true? Rika, I think the Mistweaving Phantom is the person who hit Justin with that spell yesterday. And it could be someone you used to work with. That's impossible. How can you be so sure? It's just not. Rika, Tyrion, I'm not gonna talk about this. I couldn't blame her for being so defensive. I'd be a hypocrite if I did. But I needed to know more about these thieves she used to run with. I would need to persuade her to tell me the truth. Okay? What about her past? Thanks for telling me about what happened, Rika. I know that must have been difficult. Yeah, I really do hope it helps. It would have been nice if you told us you were safe in Rathbone. Sorry, I was just too focused on getting revenge on the nobility. And after a while, it just felt like too much time had passed. Yeah, well, you're here now. We should make the most of it. I'm holding you two to that adventure after this is all over. Alright, Witness testimony. Anything about this? No. Okay. What'd you say about the arcane crystals? Nothing? What about the ring? Do you recognize this ring? Justin was wearing it at the day of the accident. Really? I don't ever remember seeing him wear a ring. It's not that noticeable. Maybe you just didn't notice it. No, I was seeing him every day. I feel like I would have noticed something like that. That's strange. There's something special about this ring, too. It wasn't damaged by the chemicals at all. Is it that really so important? Insignificant details like this tend to be relevant more often than you'd think. Leather strap? What is this strap? It might just be nothing. Maybe he found it on the street or something. It was dirty and reeked of grass. I'll have to keep it in mind just in case. There has to be a reason why Justin was holding this. Present. Union tensions, the autopsy report. We don't have any spells so far, which is weird. He's really gone, isn't he? Sorry, I shouldn't have... It's okay. I know you're doing your best to help Mr. Drakigan. It's just hard to accept, you know? A part of me wishes this really was all an accident. But someone attacked, and I don't even know why. Alright, so we're building out the profile. Good. The shipping report, maybe. No. Union tensions? What can we get out of her? Mistweaving Phantom? She knew something about the Mistweaving Phantom, but she obviously wasn't keen on sharing. We need to persuade her if she wanted to tell us. Yeah, okay. Arrested insurrectionists? No. What about, Stefanik? I really owe a lot to Mr. Drakigan. He invested in you despite your brushes with the law. He must have a lot of faith in you. You think so? Well, your cooking is amazing. I love your breakfast wraps. Yeah, I'm really proud of how those turned out. I really hope he gets out of this. Alright, what about Justin? Wait, no. Wishes... Okay, that was the same. How about Arya? No? What about Noah? I hope Noah is okay. Yeah, those nights were a little rough with him. Is he okay? Yeah, he's just a little shaken up. He's been trying to get the Kingsguard to reveal where his friends were taken. Right. I suppose Lucio Steelwind is the last person I'd trust with my friends' lives. Alright. What about Ruby? How was living with Ruby tomorrow? From the way the papers wrote about her, she doesn't sound like the sort of person that could raise a 10-year-old. Those are just baseless rumors being spread by the nobility. They were just trying to discredit her in the public eye. Oh, okay. That makes sense. It made her sound like some sort of ruthless maniac who'll do whatever it takes to win. I wanted to deny that. So why didn't I? Interesting. What about Celeste? Celeste, I love your sword. Is that bone? Yeah, how did you know? I could tell by the texture. I've held some really exotic blades being sold by some of the traveling merchants here. Yeah, it was carved from the bones of a purple worm. It's unbreakable. I want one. I'm sure you can find your own sword from those traveling merchants. I said I held those blades. Affording them is another matter. And what about Lloyd Von Sanctus? Do you know anything about the Duke of Commerce? Not anything outside of the papers. We've never even met. All I know is that I'm paying him a lot of taxes. Okay. And herself. Thanks for telling me. Okay. No, that's not. We need to... We got... who else? Coraline? No. What about... Aster? No. And Lucio? No. So, what are we missing here in the shipping report? No. We already showed her the attorney's runestone. And the testimony, which is part of hers. We already talked about that. Her past. I think I've presented everybody. Tyrion, maybe? You really know how to command a presence in the courtroom. I kind of have to if I want to get anywhere. Each session starts with the entire room convinced that the defendant is guilty. I'm glad there are people out there who will do what it takes to deliver justice. I think you and Mr. Drakigan have something in common there. Oh, good, we did it. Cool. Well, let's do this argument, and then we'll close for the night. I'm gonna save before we do it. Alright, argument. I needed to know more about the people that Mazorica used to run with, and I couldn't ignore what Steelwind said during the trial. Supposedly, the Mistweaving Phantom's thefts were all similar to the theft she took part in all those years ago. She was holding something back. I just needed to convince her to tell me. Start the argument. Tyrion, wait a minute. Mazorica Tudor's criminal past is such a sore subject for her. She knew you 10 years ago, and she clearly trusts you. Use logic to explain why you need this information. If logic isn't possible, sincerity may be enough because of your shared past. I don't want to talk about this. Can you just let this go? I need this information if I want to save Drakigan. Rationalize, I think. Let's see. She knew you. Use logic to explain why you need this information. Yeah. I know I'm asking a lot, but there's too much at stake here. I need this information if I want to save Drakigan and find out what really happened to Justin. I'm not hiding anything. I don't know who the Mistweaving Phantom is. Or only he was ever good enough to get away with robbing on an Imperial ship. Sad and fearful. What Steelwind said about the new thief isn't true. It's just a coincidence. The thought is contradicting the claim. I don't think you really believe that. One of the people you used to work with was really good, wasn't he? Only he was ever good enough to successfully rob an Imperial ship. How did you know that? Naught can remain concealed from the eye of Horus. Tyrion, don't joke around right now. I'm not. Rika, this person is dangerous. You don't know that. How can you say that? He attacked your friend. I keep telling you that's not what happened. The Mistweaving Phantom isn't a threat to anyone. Whoever they are, they were just trying to survive. They didn't kill Justin, and they're not dangerous. The Mistweaving Phantom... Oh, the stolen arcane crystals. Rika, the Mistweaving Phantom stole something important from a ship owned by the Crown Prince. He did? He stole several high-capacity arcane crystals. Those crystals could be used to construct an explosive powerful enough to destroy a city block. Why do you think Lucio Steelwind has been blockading the city for the last few days? I know you're just trying to do the right thing, but whoever the Phantom is, their actions could have unimaginable consequences for the city. How can I trust you? What? How can I trust you? You just disappeared into the forest after the execution. I thought you were dead. And then 10 years later, you showed up in the paper, working for some shady lawyer. Lucio Steelwind saved you at the trial yesterday, and you're even friendly with his daughter. I can't trust you. What am I supposed to think? How am I supposed to trust you? Appeal, yeah. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can say to make up for that. I know I've changed a lot, but believe me when I say that I want to save you and this city. Please, Rika. I need you to tell me who the serial robber is. I can't defend Drakigan or stop Lucio unless I know that. Okay. I'll trust you. Argument 1. Alright. I successfully persuaded Mazorica Tudor. Alright, I think we're gonna call it there, and then we'll get the evidence next time. So let's do that. Next time, we are going to continue with case 3, which so far, this case is pretty cool. I'm liking it a lot. It's interesting. It is a interesting wrinkle with the whole, it was a accidental negligence, but also probably a murder. And I'm quite sure the hairless rodent that the prince saw has a lot to do with this case, and probably the leather strap and the conjuration magic on it. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. And also the prince is a conjuration mage. That's interesting. But maybe coincidental. We'll see. All right. See you next time. Bye.